Hello, I'm Thomas, and this is the KAANP, the Knoxville Area Artists Networking Platform. And here we talk to artists about themselves, the art they make, and where they make it, kinda. So, yeah, stick around, give us a listen, enjoy the show.
So if somebody calls me and says, "Where are you?" It's like, well, I can't fucking be outside. So
Yeah, I can't be outside.
sorry.
So
So
we're
it's break time for you.
we're here
Basically.
with Curtis this afternoon. How you doing, Curtis?
Good man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. So, yeah, you can't rain, or you can't work when it rains outside.
No,
Nah.
it's like a free break.
Yeah. So, what do you do outside?
Do murals, large scale murals for all different types of businesses, bars, restaurants, commercial buildings, dealerships, hotels, you name it. So I've been doing it the last 6 years full time, and yeah, it keeps me busy, man.
Are businesses your usual client?
Yeah, yeah. Basically, I would say that what I would be considered would be a commercial artist. So, I mean, that's kind of how you can make a decent living doing your artwork, and you put out a decent product, and people see it, and they want it in their own version for their own business,
Right.
and you just adapt that content to them, and make the customer happy. So.
So smiles all around because you get to work and they get some beautiful image on the side of their property.
Yeah, yeah. That's like, I mean, the whole reason why I went off and did this thing was, I always had an art background, and I didn't go to art school or anything, but I always drew, and I was always painting stuff, and um, I was working for other people, kind of within the arts industry. I was doing like faux finishing and flipping kitchen cabinets, and the last job I had was in an art gallery, and I was doing framing, so. We did a lot of specialty type stuff too, but like at the end of the day, I was being creative and working for someone else at a set wage. So like in a way, you're controlled, and a lot of that stuff. There's a ceiling to how far out there you can get with your imagination and whatever your creative aspirations are.
Right.
You kind of get it boxed in when you're doing that for somebody else. And I just got to a point where I was just like, I got this ability. I got to put it to use in a better way. And I'm done taking orders from people.
Right.
So, I mean, I still do, obviously, with, clients and going through the mock up phase and getting them what they want. But sometimes there's 100% creative freedom. Sometimes
Yeah, it's a different set of constraints.
yeah. But at the end of the day, like, I'm making my own schedule, and I can pick and choose a lot of projects now with what I've done in the past.
Yeah.
So it's very free, and instead of having to like wear a certain uniform and be at a building at a certain time,
Yeah.
and take those orders, and kind of just it feels so robotic in a sense now compared to what I'm doing that I wish I would have started it sooner. And I just try and push myself and get better. So.
So, in what ways are you pushing yourself right now?
Well, time management's one of them. Being like,
Yeah, I know that. I know
yeah,
that.
well, I think that's everybody. But
Everybody.
yeah, I since I'm working just for myself and nobody's else, there. I didn't go to like business school or anything. Just kind of winging it. But like, in terms of working on stuff, like I'll learn new techniques. Like I've only been using spray cans for a couple of years. I mainly use acrylic paint as well, but I'll do the mixed media thing and
Yeah.
layer it. Um, but working on certain types of realism or composition, I feel like I can get better with that. Color theory, just all the art elements basically, and then also the business side of it is dealing with clients and reading them and what they want and what they don't want. And how much do you value your worth? Like just all those questions that go into trying to start a business. And I learn something new every time,
Yeah.
depending on how the deal goes down or what the content is, I'll sometimes I'll mock something up and I'll think of a better version later on, or I would have done this differently. And then also when it comes to dealing with people, it's like, okay, did I negotiate that the best way possible? Did I present it well enough? Did I give a good impression? All those
Right.
things. So it's just it's basically trial by fire, and I like that. I like that. There's not a way to go by the book with the art world because it's so subjective.
Right.
The work itself is so subjective. We're not, if you're painting, you're not creating this one product over. And I mean, you can and do like prints or whatever, but even then, like that's all custom made,
Yeah.
and that's a whole different process in itself. And so it's basically being more consistent and just showing up when you have to, getting the job done, keeping your word. And sometimes I fail at that, and it's not that I'm not trying to do that. It's just sometimes whether it's scheduling conflicts or whether like earlier today working or
Yeah. I mean, the rain impeded my process at work today, so
yeah,
it happens.
it's like I said, it becomes a nice little free day. But I'll go back in, like my living room's my studio, and I'll go through all my contacts, and I've been messing with an iPad and Procreate the last year, trying to figure all that out. So that's there's still stuff you can do,
Right.
especially in the initial mock-up processes if you got some clients in waiting. So there's always something to be done. So the switch never really turns off. It just
It's just
basically, instead of like a 9 to 5, it's not an on-off switch. It's more of like a volume. So like
that's a great explanation.
it's like you crank it up when you're busy and you're blasting it, and then when you're done with whatever you're doing, maybe you turn it down to like a 2 or 3 volume level, but it's still in your mind and you're still in that mode, and it's
Yeah.
always with you. So
Definitely.
I never really walk away from it in my mind, and sometimes I can stress you out, but I like to always be thinking about what can be done. And I mean, shoot, driving over here to do this podcast, I was going up Western and seeing all those walls,
All
all
those
those
new
warehouse
walls.
even the corrugated ones. And I'm
Yup.
like, damn, mural.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Uh-huh.
like a portrait could go there, or like a forest scene could go there, and all the overpasses and all this stuff. I'm just like, man,
There's so many square feet that are empty.
yeah,
So many.
yeah. Knoxville's like scene is kind of there, and it's getting there, but there needs to be more artists getting after it. That um, I feel like some people are kind of timid or nervous or not sure how to get started.
Yeah.
I just jumped in it. You gotta get after it aggressively. You gotta just market yourself any way you can, and the fact that I've done a bunch of walls, and there's some other people that have been doing some good work that have gotten more acclaim and all that, and I want more people to see that it's possible, and just have this whole large army of muralists to pick from.
Oh, it would be great.
Yeah, that way, because the thing is
Something for everybody at that point.
yeah, and everyone's style is different. Like I've gotten loaded up enough to where I've had to give jobs to other people that maybe they're more into graphic design, or maybe they're into signage, or maybe they're into something into realism or something more fantasy. And like I'll post that stuff on some of the networking groups online, and
Yeah.
refer stuff to some of my buddies and stuff like that, just to maybe try and help them get their foot in the door, because there's plenty of work to go around, and I feel like if you're just willing to work like anything else, and I don't see why you wouldn't, especially if you can do it for yourself. And if you can get paid making yourself happy with your craft and making somebody else happy with a building front,
Right. And then there you go.
and you slap your name on it, and next thing you know, however many thousands of cars pass by that location a day, somebody's going to see that and appreciate it
Yeah.
to a degree.
And then you might get a phone call.
Then you might get a phone call or an email or a DM or whatever, and that's how organic it is. As much as I hate social media, I finally got an Instagram like a while ago, and that's free marketing.
Yeah.
And I keep a Facebook page, and I don't even have a dedicated website yet, which I need to get one.
My website is lukewarm.
yeah.
Lukewarm. It's there. It exists. It's a thing.
Yeah, I have a domain name, but other than that, it links to my Instagram account.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a huge scroll uh, feed directly from my Instagram, like the top third of my webpage. Yep.
Yeah, I need that just for like, cause now like I've been aggressively trying to get like bids for like art foundations or
Yeah.
public art committees, and it's really good to have that website because it makes you look more professional than just
Right.
a guy that's like,
Here's my Instagram account.
yeah, here's my yeah.
That's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, well, it kind of it's like, well, okay, everyone has one of those, but like, do you have like an actual stylized,
Right.
dedicated site with like a mission statement and all your exhibitions and all your works and all, like, is it like do you have structure to your business? Basically,
Yeah.
I think that is what that tells people instead of just uploading a bunch of images. So, but it works. So, yeah.
Yeah, really, you got to really crank on that handle.
You want me to-
I really wasn't kidding, dude. Yeah, crank it.
Yeah, we're having technical difficulties.
Yeah, the saggy mic stand, the bane of my existence on this day.
Yeah, it should be okay.
It's a saggy mic stand.
It's okay. We could like prop it up with a piece of wood or something. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. It's good.
But you kind of skirted around one of my questions there. So what's it like being a creative person in Knoxville right now? Right now, specifically, more or less.
Right now,
Yeah.
it's actually good. Now I've been doing this for the last 6 years in Knoxville, so I get a lot more contacts and calls.
Yeah.
Just my frequency might be higher than people starting out. I still like. I think it's good to me because, and I went to school in Asheville and I love going to Chattanooga. I've been to Nashville and Atlanta, like all the surrounding cities, like their art scenes are way better. I don't know why. It's just it is what it is in Knoxville. I feel like Knoxville's always a little bit slower with development of things.
Somehow.
I don't know powers that be or the developmental style of this city. I don't know why, but I kind of got it on the forefront from it. So I stay busy. I enjoy it. There's a lot of work to be done here, and you can make a name for yourself since there's not a lot of people doing it. So
Right.
I like it. Now, a lot of the projects can be, pretty generic at times or not that creative. Or the one thing you do run into, and not always, some people appreciate, what we type of stuff we do, but you'll have people kind of haggle you, really lowball you,
Oh yeah, definitely.
which that's just how it is in the creative field.
Yeah.
Whether it's somebody's, wants a logo or a T-shirt design or a website or, a painting of
Whatever it is.
whatever like it's funny to me. It's like people that are creative, people that write music, people that sing, people that all this stuff, I never understand like the visual or the entertainment factor that humans provide to other humans in this world gets haggled constantly. when there's like a set price for other material possessions,
Yeah.
or whether you're buying, I don't know.
I mean, nobody takes the toilet paper up to the cashier and is like,
Yeah.
"I'll give you $5
Yeah, I
for
don't
this."
go to Kroger and be like, "Hey, man, all this for like $20."
Right. In the express lane.
And like it's like that's just to me. And I've always told artists this. I tell anybody this, and I always tell them to stand your ground. And if people feel like they're, some people take it personally. It can be like insulting where you want to charge something and they do like 5 times less.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What the hell, man? Like, well, okay, and they don't value. Well, here's what you also got to realize too: is art's a luxury.
Yes.
It's not
very
needed.
much so.
It's not. It's not giving you your flu shot or changing your tire or
Right.
fixing your plumbing. things that are necessary to function. It's something just nice to look at or hear or whatever. And so that's where, I think the haggle.
A lot of people will really haggle on it because
Yeah.
it's not particularly
But
necessary.
the one thing I've learned is if you just keep doing you and you bust your ass and you start developing a better product output.
Yeah.
Maybe you could, I don't have a style because I'm like, I just like, you want that? Yeah, I can probably paint that. And then I do it. I don't have a particular style. So like, I'm adaptable, but I wish I kind of had like a trademark style because I feel like, you could go around every spot and be like, oh, that's Curtis's work.
But you got your tag on there, so we
Oh
definitely know.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but like at a distance, like
Right.
maybe if I did like a certain character or drew a certain way, like some of the more famous kind of street artists. But I feel like if you just keep working hard, eventually your name gets enough credit, or your work does, to where you're not going to deal with those people
Right.
that are going to bullshit you anymore.
You're going to get the clientele that
You're
want
still
your
going to
word.
get that, but they're going to be like, there's going to be a certain level of respect shown, to where when it comes down to the content or pricing, they're going to be like, oh, well, he's done all these things, so like, yeah, of course. Like,
Yeah.
I would expect that type of quote. And like, I lose half my bids, man. Like, because people have this good idea and they go, oh, I don't think it's going to.
Cost that much.
Yeah. And like, I understand that. You're not hurting my feelings because you know what? I got like 5 to 10 other people wanting something
Yeah.
that our our objectives and goals might align better. So you can't get all mopey about it.
Yeah, your client having proper expectations is really convenient.
Well, you just gotta keep creating, and then once you keep creating and you get on this roll, or I mean, everyone's at a different pace, then you can start and pick and choose, and it becomes it's you kind of get the cream of the crop of what you want, and I mean it's always a struggle. If you're not struggling, then you're not working hard enough, in my mind. If you're just trying to, if you're in you're not supposed to ever be comfortable.
Yeah, because you don't grow when you're comfortable.
Yeah, you just sit there and you rest on your laurels, and you do one or two piece. It's like comedians when they they do a special, and like now with like Netflix and all that other stuff, like they need to keep cranking stuff out. But like I don't know if you remember like watching like comedy specials, but they would do their like thing on I don't know, like HBO or whatever.
Yeah.
And their special would go out, and it'd be like 5 years until they did another special.
Yeah, and now people do a special a year, sometimes two.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like, can you imagine? Like, I went to go see Tom Segura
At Side Splitters, please tell me it's at Side
No,
Splitters.
no. That was a while ago. No, I went to go see him in Cincinnati, and I saw him here in Knoxville, and his special had come out, and it was like I saw the same act that I saw on the, like I saw him on tour first, and then I saw his Netflix special come out, and it was like 90% similar, and I was like, damn, I've already seen this.
Well, you might have got him working the material out for the special while he was
Yeah,
on
you
tour.
can tell when they fine tune that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a big, I love Segura, and Bill Burr's my favorite. I listen to that dude's podcast.
Yeah, I like me some Bill Burr.
He's awesome. Dan Cummins is a good one.
I listen to Ari Shaffir.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like him a lot.
I'll listen to. I'll put on it's basically like Louis C.K. Podcast. Well, not a podcast. It's a Pandora thing.
Yeah, it's a radio station.
And it switches up to all these dudes, and I love all that comedy. And Dave Chappelle's awesome too, obviously. But,
Yeah, we turn on the stand-up station every now and again at work. It's a good time.
I used to have it blasted in the art gallery when I was framing. And it was like, I remember it was like Carlin's like 7 Dirty Words came on, and my boss was like, Curtis, you need to.
Yeah, no,
You can't, and there's like, it's like well refined people like buying thousands of dollars oil paintings, and it's like, he's, Carlin's, was it
cock shit, motherfucker tits.
shit,
some-
piss, I forget what it is.
Yeah, the dirty words they don't allow on TV.
But I put it on all that stuff, and that stuff keeps me going, and I'll put that with my earbuds, and that and a lot of ambient trance music.
Trance music.
Yeah, man, I'm a big Anjuna Beats guy, Above and Beyond.
Yeah,
Artie, JTech, gosh, all that stuff, like all that like upbeat, just synthesizer, whatever. I love that stuff. Sunny Lax is another one.
I listen to a lot of synthwave stuff.
Do you really? I
Yeah.
even like that like 80s style stuff.
Yeah.
Like that like kind of dark noir stuff.
Yes. It's great.
There's a really cool game that was like a retro game, and the soundtrack is actually pretty cool. It was a Hotline Miami.
I don't know about this. I'm gonna have to check this out.
It was a retro game by these like independent developers. It's Hotline Miami 1 and 2, and it's an overhead view, um, like one of those. I forget. I'm trying to think of like an old vintage game that was like that, almost like a Zelda, but you're this dude, and it's like you just slaughter everything, and
Like a hack and slash?
like a hack and
Ooh.
slash, but you got these guns, and it's like just all this gore, but like Nintendo gore,
Right.
and you wear these different masks. There's all this like retro '80s pop art, and they got these DJs to make some of these cool. They sound like MIDI like midis, you
Yeah.
know. I love all that. I love all that type of stuff. Just because I was born in '83, so like I grew up kind of in those times, and wasn't a Gen Xer, but
Yeah, my older brother and sister exposed me to a lot of that kind of stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, and
it had it had a certain style.
and I just now came back around to it. Like the last, I don't know, year and a half or so, I've been exploring a lot of that again.
Well, that tells you, like, think about it this way. And I knew everybody was feeling nostalgic. Like, why do you think Stranger Things was so big?
Oh, dude,
Because
it
of
hit
that
so hard.
soundtrack, the clothes, like, I don't know, they could have had Trapper Keepers on their bike,
Oh,
like
dude.
whatever. Like, you go, oh shit, I used to have one of those.
Did
Well,
you
I had-
see
I had
all
that
the
shit-
the World's Fair references in that?
did.
Yeah,
I
that made me
did.
feel really cool.
Did. Actually, I
liked
had
that a lot.
I got a call by someone who had designed or owned the rights to that logo. They were wanting the World's Fair.
That's Sweet Peas right now.
That's
isn't
Sweet
it?
Peas, yeah. I
Yeah.
forget who told me about that. It might have been Visit Knoxville, but they were wanting to do the original flame somewhere or integrate it on a wall. And I was like, hell yeah, I'll paint that.
Yeah, let's go real quick.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they bought I don't know if it's like the city that had that or the World's Fair,
I just-
whatever event sanctioning
Yeah,
body.
I just know like people hang their hat on that.
Oh
and-
man, that logo, you can see it
and
lots of places.
Like the whole fair thing, like there's like this whole like we had the World's Fair, but I'm like, yeah, didn't those bankers like steal a shit ton of money?
Oh boy.
Butcher Brothers.
Yeah,
I was just reading about that the other day. I was like, good lord, like like hundreds of millions of
Yes.
dollars.
Yes, they did not play.
And I don't know, did that affect Knoxville in any way?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, because they were from here, and yeah, I read about. It. I was like, oh, there's a dark side to the fair there. And
I
how
mean, it can't be all cheery and
it
optimism.
never is, man.
It can't be all that
with
great.
some of the things I've seen and heard from working in Knoxville, there's always a twist to things.
Yeah, where's the thicken to the plot? Like there's a turn here somewhere.
Yeah, there's always some other incentive or something like that, and I just, I'm sitting here, I'm like, I just want to paint you something cool, so
Yep.
like I don't really never really know what's going on. I just like I'll make your wall look pretty, and that's about it.
So, walls looking pretty. How many projects you working on right now?
In terms of like working or like in progress, like
Currently painting. Currently physically working on.
well, Old City's being touched up right now, needs to get done. I just finished Gatlinburg at a Mexican restaurant called Local Burro. There's a 40-foot mural with a Day of the Dead girl with like marigolds and roses. She's got this like hair flowing and
Yeah, it's
whatnot.
Sugar Skull esque.
Yeah,
Right.
but we didn't want to go too cartoony. Actually, I used a model here. Her name's Leah. She does some modeling stuff. She bartends down in Market Square, and I use my friend Jamie as a photographer. She actually knew Leah, so we used her as a reference. So that's like the girl in the restaurant that is painted. That's an actual reference of somebody in Knoxville.
Yeah.
And I like to do that. I have a few other friends that I'm like, hey, I think you'd make a cool, canvas or, mural or whatever. And I've gone out and shot with them. So I like to use local people if I can, because that just ties them into the community more
Right.
instead of going online and find some,
Some random stock
some
photo.
random IG, model. That's all, all that social media crap. I'd rather get somebody that is is around the area.
I feel like you can get a more accurate representation for your reference too.
Well, that too, and then also like it like I said, it just ties more people together because if they go, that kind of looks like you, and then that person's like, yeah, it is me, and it's like,
Right.
how'd that happen? It's
Hey.
like, well, yeah, this muralist hit me up, so there's like becomes this whole connection, and then I think there's more satisfaction out of that
Yeah.
than like, like I said, find some like Insta model in some bikini that's like in Europe somewhere,
Right.
just because she's like a babe, you know, she's pleasing to look at doesn't mean you need to paint her on a wall somewhere.
True.
I'd rather get somebody that has a connection to the city and use them as a reference, and maybe get their name out there for something.
Yeah, it kind of spreads the investment a little bit
Yeah,
too.
and,
You got a piece of it, they've got a
It's a
piece of
confidence
it.
booster for them,
It's
and they can
something
show
for
their friends
everybody
and
to feel proud of.
family, and like I think that's really cool. And and Knoxville is like to me, Knoxville's big enough. It's not small, but it's not huge.
Yeah, it's definitely
It's
not
not
huge.
Nashville. It's not like just so crazy. And it's a big enough town though, where I mean, you can always meet somebody new, but everyone kind of knows everybody too.
At the same time, somehow.
Yeah, everything is. It's to me, it's like 2 degrees separation. I think.
2?
I think just 2.
Okay.
Yeah, because you and I just met and we painted in what West Central Nashville or
An hour west. Yeah, West Central
up
Tennessee.
in Waverly.
Yeah, we can talk about that now.
Yeah,
The
you wanna
art
talk
park.
about that? Yeah.
Yeah. So the Waverly Walls Art Park is this privately owned public park in Waverly, Tennessee, which is like an hour and 15 minutes or so west of Nashville.
Shout out to Kansas Klein for making that happen.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I got to stay at that dude's house.
He's got a wild setup.
Yeah, did I tell you about that?
I've been to his house. I went to the the thing last year.
Well, here you tell him about the walls, and I'll tell you about my story.
All right,
when I
great.
stayed there.
So there's there's 70 plus artists, 70 groups of artists. So some crews, some individuals, and I don't know how many square footage of walls, but there's like 60 or 70 walls, something like that. Surfaces, shared walls, all that.
Front and back.
Yeah, front and back, and then some of them are different shapes, like L shapes, and have different things. Different. A good
Some are
variety of
curved,
shapes.
Some are
Yeah.
curved. There's a right angle wall for 3D.
Which what Steven the artist?
Steven the artist
Yeah, dude, he
did.
knocked that out. That was so nice.
With the hands touching.
His style is really unique. I
That
think.
guy was super cool to meet too. I met a lot. Like the main reason why I go to those things is to meet the artists. Like the content, like I've done, I'm just like, whatever. I'll make it relevant to whatever.
Which your
But-
piece was pretty slick. The
Pretty-
birds was
well,
nice.
it took me long enough, and I didn't have a plan.
Well, it looked good.
But those birds actually, going back to, using local references, those were pictures taken from a guy that's worked for the city of Knoxville. He's retired.
The blue jay and a cardinal, right?
Yeah, this guy, his name's John Gustin, and I met him in the alleyway when I did a piece,
Ha.
the hands, like a long time ago.
Yeah.
And he had his camera and smoking a cigar, super chill dude. And he just takes photographs, and we ended up becoming like Facebook friends. And he sits out in front of his bird feeder like every evening and takes these badass photos of like these jays or cardinals or woodpeckers or like starlings, or there's deer, there's raccoons, and like they're always like fighting over the bird feeder. And he posts them online, and I was like, John, these are badass photos, man. I was like, can I use some of your birds? And he's like, go for it. And so like that's
So there you go. Yeah.
a local
That's
reference.
great.
So, but yeah, a lot of people killed it, and I finally got to meet a bunch of people from like Atlanta, Texas, and Florida.
So I guess the person I know pretty well there's Alexa and then Patty. You know Patty, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. He spoke highly of you when I spoke with him over the
he
weekend.
did he did that badass octopus.
Dude, that thing was so nice.
we tease each other because like just with the way Instagram is and the way people, there's always like generic ways when people would be like new post up, and like
Yeah.
it's like all these stupid like
The stickers and
animated
gifs and stuff,
and
yeah.
stickers and stuff like that. he did that one time, and I was like, man, that's so annoying. Like, I'm gonna see it if I follow your shit. And then he did like he does these really cool ink sketches.
He does. He
They're
time
dark and
lapse on the stuff.
cryptic.
Yep.
Like he'll paint like nicer shit like on public walls, but I love his dark stuff.
Yeah, that elephant he drew the other day was pretty
Yeah, and
crazy.
I'm always like, dude, like translate that like dark because I have old sketchbooks from high school, like teenage angst and shit.
Oh, dude, I've still
Where it's
got
all
mine.
like demonic, and now I paint like bright, happy
I'm
shit.
shaking
like
my head
flowers
really
and
hard.
pretty girls and like outdoor fun scenes, and like I got a bunch of dark shit on record.
I was all skulls and flames. And,
Yeah.
And, whatever would piss off a conservative person is what I drew in high school.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was like a phase, and then you're like, well, that was fun. And it's like I can't really sell this, but it feels good to get out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Patty, it was good to see him. Finally, we crossed paths because we both missed each other at Paint Memphis the last year or so, and he's fun to chat with.
Man,
Alexa, I didn't know she was there, and I had talked to her because I think she's in Greenville,
yeah.
and she said she had just started out and I was supposed to see her at the previous Walls thing, and I couldn't make it because my grandfather passed back in the fall. That's when I missed the last one.
Yeah, she and I were wall neighbors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like what you're talking about. So I heard somebody was painting oil paints on a wall outside, and I was like, that person's an idiot.
Yeah, and that wall gets plenty of shade too.
Yeah. So it's probably still wet, but
it might still be wet.
But and then she told me, she goes, yeah, I did the mandala. I was like, oh, I was like, you dumbass, what are you doing? But she did a great job. It turned out really good.
Yeah, she really hit a home run on that one.
I've never seen anybody paint oils on exterior like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I told you, I put that base coat down on accident. That was on accident. But she totally went balls deep on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of blending that I work slow enough as it is. So, but that was fun. It was really cool. So I got to meet Mo. His name's Mike. I think he goes by. Shit. I think I'm messing it up. But Abstract Overspray.
Yeah.
He was a cool guy to talk to.
He knocked his piece out too. That looked really cool.
Yeah, I like his glitch work. And Oz, that's what it is. He goes by Oz. But got to meet Britt, paints a lot. Yeah, and met Dreamweaver. She did good. Taylor, and then Everyday Research.
Mm-hmm.
Efren, I think. That whole crew, they killed that scene.
Dude, that big wall. It's such a good canvas for people like that.
Rise from Chicago was super fucking nice. God, it's so cool. Like the cool thing about, so like today's polarizing bullshit, online media, whatever you want to call it, like with all the separation with politics and religion and gender and race and all that shit, you go to one of these things and that shit does not matter.
Not
And
one bit.
that's what I absolutely love is I'm meeting people I would never, like, I could see all these people at a bar and I'd probably never go up and say hey.
Right.
Because I'm like, we probably don't have anything in common and whatever, it's not a big deal. But when we all get there and we all got a can in our hands or a brush and everyone's just going after it, like, I want to go up. I walked around multiple times just to like kind of eavesdrop and loiter.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I'd be like, I want to hear this guy's story or her story.
Yeah.
And likewise, people will come by too, where like everyone's just like this complimentary community of artists.
Oh, and you had the boiled peanuts guy right next to you too.
Yeah. That guy was super. He gave me he had his own custom stickers too.
Yeah.
I think his name was Blake. Yeah, he was a super nice guy.
Dude, those peanuts smelled so good.
Did
you eat any?
Well, we had the Cajun food truck guy. He was hooking me up with drinks and
oh man,
and really nice. And so like that's the whole reason why I go. Like I've never once gone there to be like I'm gonna flex my shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's like you're meeting people and you just happen to be painting, You know,
It's such a laid back event. Like everybody's there for the same reason. It's to have a good time and to make some art. And I really think anytime you get people together for the same reason, just to do something together, removed from general society in some way,
yeah,
it's always great.
we were in our own little world, and we're all creatives, and like that you in some bigger cities you got that you got these art collectives where that exists. Like I know a lot of people in Charlotte. There's a whole like area dedicated, like warehouse district of studios.
Oh yeah, there's the River District I think in Denver,
Yeah,
and they have that like I don't know that whole alleyway, miles and miles of just nothing but
yeah,
great art.
yeah. It's like I think it's the Rhino or whatever.
Yeah, the Rhino.
Yeah, and like Knoxville, there's some art studios. Like there's that one off Broadway, the Broadway Studios
Mm-hmm.
that you rent out and stuff like that. But it's like like an old office building. Like it's I don't know. I kind of like the ones where it's like these little half garage warehouse cutouts, and
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of people doing all sorts of random shit, and all different types of mediums. So, but yeah, I when I got to Waverly, I stayed at Kansas's house.
Yeah, a lot of people camp in his yard.
Yeah, well, they kicked everybody out on the campground the first night. I don't know if you remember that.
Like Thursday night
Yeah, because the owner
or Friday night.
across the way was it was I don't know, it was too loud. I don't know what his deal was, but there was an agreement that they could camp, and then he got mad, and then they couldn't camp.
Oh,
So then everybody camped on Kansas's property. But when I got in there, I got in Thursday. I forget. I mean, it's just like
the weekend at some
the
point.
weekend at some point. But I got a spare bedroom,
Oh,
which I looked
nice.
at, and I was by myself, and I didn't know about his like animal situation.
You had no clue for real?
I had no fucking clue.
Oh my God! So you show
So-
up and there's bobcats and
Yeah, I
foxes
told
and
this
whatever
story
the
like
hell
20
else.
times, but I'll tell it to your audience. So I get out of like I guess one of his like son's bedrooms or whatever. There's like motocross stuff everywhere, and I have my contacts in, and I'm blind as a bat. And I open up the door, and there's this like cat-like figure at the base that kind of shoots off, but it's also like kind of blocking me. And I go, "Oh shit, what's that? I didn't know."
That's a big ass
That's a
cat.
big cat. I kind of like focus, and I was like, "Wait a minute." I go like, "He's got a stubby tail, like
Yeah.
4 or 5 inches." And I was like, "Why does he have like a leopard print on his back?" And I go, and I saw like the frills on his mane a little bit. It wasn't
Yeah.
like full grown, and I was like, "Is this a fucking bobcat? Like, did he get the house?" And I'm walking out of the bedroom across the like the entertainment area
Yeah.
to get to the bathroom, and I'm walking really slow, thinking it's like
Trying not to get attacked.
like I'm one of the guys in Jurassic Park where the T-Rex is looking at us, and it's like, don't make any sudden movement. And this thing is crawling up all over the couch. I'm just wearing shorts, so like my legs are exposed. I have
Yeah.
a shirt on. I'm like, if this fucker comes after
Yeah,
me,
you're
I'm
good. You're God.
screwed.
Yeah.
And it's like sitting there, like it's like pawing at the carpet, like just stretching its claws out, just doing whatever it does, and it purrs like a freight train. And so instead of like a cat just kind of when they like kind of rub up against you, and it's like
A gentle.
this thing was like, and it was like, and what happened? So I go, okay, I'm gonna brush my teeth, and I like closed the door a little bit, and it came in, and it jumped up in the sink, and it looked at me in the face. It was like, this is my house, bitch. You're new. What's up? And
You gonna brush your teeth or what?
and I was sitting here. I was like, don't look at it. I was looking into the mirror and then looking at looking through the mirror back into it.
Yeah.
And it was just pacing across the bathroom, like, just letting me know that like this is my area. And I'm sitting here, and I've never had my feet sweat before out of nervousness. My feet were sweaty, and so I want to like shit my pants basically. And so I'm done brushing my teeth, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this thing. Is this like a pet, or like I feel like it was a pet, but at the same time I'm like, I don't know. Like I'm in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you just woke up.
Yeah, I just woke up and I didn't know, and so I go back, and the thing is, he's pacing in front of me, or I guess it's a she, right? I think it's a
I
female.
don't know. I've
And
seen
it's
it,
pacing
but I
in front
haven't.
of me, and it keeps blocking my passage, and then it juts off somewhere, and I don't know what to do. So I get back in bed and I get under the covers because I'm like, at least if it claws me,
I got some
I got
covers.
some cover, and it jumps up again right where my head is on the pillow, and it starts sniffing, and I hear that that crazy purr, and I'm like, just like, we're cool, man, we're cool. And she gets behind my tucked knees and she curls up
Yeah,
and
just
starts
lays down.
playing with her claws and shit. And I'm like, I'm still freaking out. Like, I'm like, I don't know what to do. And so finally, I'm like, okay, maybe it's cool. And it's like a tame pet, and it like I get up and it jumps off and it's going around like the chest of drawers and stuff like that. It jumps up into the closet, like where like the top
Up
shelf,
top, yeah.
where your like shoes are and shit, or like you put your storage, and it's just pacing up and down. I took some videos of it on my Instagram.
Yeah, I
story.
think I saw one of those.
And I get and I'm freaking out because I still don't know the whole story. And Kansas texts me at like 7:30, and he's like, "This is early." He's like, "Hey, by the way, don't let my cat out." And he goes, and that's the first time I knew that he had some sort of cat. It wasn't a fucking cat; it was a bobcat.
Right. Like
I go,
that
man. I go,
warrants-
kind of freaked out. I go, kind of looks like a bobcat with the ears and the tail. And he goes, "Oh, that's because it is." And I go, "You didn't fucking tell me you had a bobcat as a pet."
Yeah.
I
feel like that's prerequisite information.
No, nobody told me anything. And so I'm sitting there pissing my pants over a bobcat claiming its territory when I'm the only one in the house because he had to go set up all the wall
Oh
space.
shit!
So it's just me and this animal, this wild animal,
Alone in the house.
alone. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there like, I'm thinking like, this is where it ends.
This is how I
This is
die.
it. Mauled by a damn bobcat, and it's like a pretty animal.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
But nobody informed me.
Dude, somebody should have told your ass. Somebody should have
He
told
did. And I show up to the wall park, and he's laughing, and his mom's laughing, and other people were like, "You didn't know you had a bobcat?" I go, "No, nobody told me." So that freaked the shit out of me.
I would love to see his dog and his cat play together. I haven't got to see
Dog
that.
is beautiful.
Dude, Buddy is a gorgeous animal.
It's not a black lab, is it?
I think
like
so.
It's got like soft fur, like a retriever.
It's- Maybe.
It's a pretty dog.
But long dark hair.
And then he's got two foxes outside.
Yes.
He's got two foxes, and then he's also got. He said he had like prairie dogs or some shit.
He does have prairie dogs.
I don't know. Like I was like, is that like code for something, or does he actually have prairie dogs?
Man, I'm not asking questions. The man lets me come paint. I don't care.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
He says, "Hey, yeah, you come paint."
It's very cool to just meet somebody like that just appreciates artwork, and that's what like we said, it comes back down to is like that kind of community
Yeah.
support. And I met him in Memphis because he went to paint Memphis a year or two ago, and
So was he out there scouting people for
he
the
was
art park?
scouting and
Oh,
recruiting, like he's like, "Hey, I'm building this park," and he gave me a flyer. I was like, "I don't know what the hell is Waverly," you know. He finally got me out there, so I think they're doing another one in the summertime.
yeah, the summer and the fall.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. I'm glad it exists. I don't know if you could pull that off in other like bigger cities, but the fact that it's like in the middle of nowhere.
I think it kind of helps because more people are less likely to screw with it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because I've always wanted to start like a Walls Park, but I'm thinking like
I feel like people would just ruin the good time we could have here in Knoxville. And I hate to say that, but a lot of people would just go be destructive, I think. And I hate that.
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, and I know some of the people that go out there and do that stuff, but like there's a certain level of respect you got to give, or at least like give somebody a month before you do something. And if you're gonna do something better.
Yeah.
Don't put your stupid tag on it or whatever.
Yeah, make something nice.
Do a better piece.
Make something nice.
Make something nice. And then it's like, oh, respect. I mean, they're doing that on the south side.
Yeah.
On Sevier Avenue, like all the
Yeah,
graffiti
there's
stuff.
a lot of nice stuff.
There's a lot of crews that go down there and do some cool stuff.
Yeah,
So,
for
I
sure.
mean, yeah, there is a space for it. It's just not like designated.
Right.
But yeah.
Well, I really enjoy how his is it's private property and he can do whatever he wants with it, but he really has just this very narrow focus on having walls and walkable trails,
And that's it.
and that's it.
Yeah, there's no like warehouse or vendor or some business owner saying, well, I don't like this or whatever. It's just a random wall in the middle of
Yeah.
like what north of Jackson, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's like an hour away from
it's
Jackson.
between Nashville and Memphis. So anybody listening that wants to paint there, like, it's random,
Yeah.
but it's cool.
Nobody's going to stop you. And it's, it's super open to good art
Yeah,
anytime.
I'm glad I went. I'm glad I finally went. So,
Well, last year I had a great time. I
Yeah.
really did. And I knew after I got done with that event, I'd have to come back.
yeah,
And I definitely look forward to, applying again in the future. So
yeah,
I greatly enjoyed it. I took my son, so watching him like running around and work his way through
Was he there?
the gravel. Yeah, he was there.
Nice.
He
A lot of families there.
yeah, man, I was really surprised how many children showed up and just people walked around in general, which there were more last year. I feel like just foot traffic wise, but
It was artist families. I saw like I met some people's moms and dads
yeah, for sure.
like from other cities like far away.
Yeah.
And then all the local families, and then like just random people from wherever just knew about it or just maybe knew Kansas. And that was really cool.
Yeah, I really enjoy it when the locals walk around because they express a good sense of gratitude most of the time. Oh, yeah, we're really glad you're here. Really glad you're making something pretty
Yeah.
for us to look at whenever.
Like take a picture, it's gonna disappear in
Yeah, yeah.
3-4 months.
Or maybe before then, who knows?
Yeah, well, the thing, like you said, it's so isolated that it's hard for like you got to make an effort to drive out there and paint over somebody's thing.
Yeah, and I saw a little bit of just like destructive graffiti when I showed up the first time, but that being said, it was a little of some really drippy acrylic paint marker on top of one wall out of 60 or whatever.
Yeah,
and,
that's just
it was so minimal. It
that just sounds like some local kid being silly.
being silly or distracted.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna happen. That's one thing you got to understand is this stuff doesn't always last forever. Now I try to for my work. I want to make something that lasts. That's why I do like the clear coats and
Right.
anti graffiti stuff. But like in the essence of street art, it doesn't last forever.
Yeah, the understanding is that in some way it's going to be temporary,
Yeah.
and it's going to get covered by who knows what.
Who knows what? Whether it's new ownership of a building or another artist or graffiti guy or the building gets demoed. I mean, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good on the beer here. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate you, by the way.
Hey, no problem,
Good
man.
podcast.
Happy to oblige.
Yeah.
But man, okay. So I have an interesting question now. How many have you ever had any of your pieces be covered up because the property gained a new owner?
Yeah.
Has that been a thing?
Yeah. I've had 3 pieces defaced that I've fixed before, and then the trampoline park, that adventure.
Oh yeah, you
Action
did that
park.
big like a superhero rocket flying guy sort of thing. Out
Yeah,
there.
I did 5 murals in there, and they were each 2 of them were signage, but they were all 40 to 50 feet long.
Yeah, those were huge.
I did 2 big like logos with neon Dayglow paint.
Go you for using those, by the way.
Do what?
Go you for using those Dayglow paints.
Oh, really?
I'm all about the neon stuff. So anytime.
Well, they glow in the dark because they do like the black lights and all
Yeah.
that stuff with all the other things when they which was pretty cool to see. I did like this galaxy scene with a satellite, and then did that like Rocketeer guy, and this like Stargate portal thing.
Nice.
All that got covered up a couple months ago.
Oh God.
All that work gone.
But you
Because-
got paid.
Well, yeah, I got paid. I got paid. I mean, it's in the portfolio, but it's gone because COVID,
Right.
that kind of stuff. Where any kind of, I mean, that type of business was all, close contact. You're
Yeah.
jumping on trampolines,
There's no real good way
running
to
into kids or whatever, and all
no
that.
good way to social distance with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, a lot of those types of businesses suffered, and so it closed, and they changed it into like some sort of like advanced auto parts. It's an auto parts store, and then the other half they turned into like a wholesale furniture store. So I went there a couple months ago because I had to get some stuff at Home Depot across the shopping center there, and I was like, I wonder what the walls look like. And they had covered up one of the logo walls. They covered up the portal. They covered up half of the galaxy thing, and they were just starting to spray over the spaceship guy,
Ah,
and I was like, shit. But,
damn.
but that's the thing, man. Like,
You can't control that. It's out of your
you
hands
know,
at that
if all
point.
these bars and restaurants close that I've painted in due to COVID and all these or any circumstance, like, and they had to cover up the wall, like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, it served its purpose for what it was.
At that point, it's
I'm
business.
not gonna get all butthurt about it. I mean, it is what it is.
A couple of friends and myself painted the Cumberland Glassworks location on 17th Street.
Okay.
I worked there for quite a while before we closed down in 2014. But when we moved into the new spot on 17th Street, I had free reign on all the walls. So I, brought in a couple of my friends. We did this big tie-dye peace sign, a big mushroom mural. The back wall, like in the employee area, was all space, and there's a big like spiral galaxy and spaceships and flying saucers.
Where was that at?
On 17th, next to Oscar's Italian restaurant. It's
17th and what?
or no, Cumberland. My bad. It's on Cumberland. It's ironically a head shop now.
I'm thinking of that bridge off of like Highland or something on the backside of Fort Sanders. Where the intramural fields are. There's a graffiti wall over there. Like it's like a pirate ship or something.
A pirate ship.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's been like defaced, but yeah, there's some talent around here I don't know about.
I recently took a walk down Sevier, like by the train tracks, and saw this huge Mum Ra mural that I didn't know existed.
Really?
Like it's probably 10 feet, maybe 8 by 30 or 40 wide, and it's it's straight up looks like you just stuck a frame of Mum Ra from Thundercats on the wall. It looks great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude, it's so well executed. I didn't know it was there, so I walked around the building. I was like, damn,
there was a
Mum Ra.
where they've rebuilt the Broadway Bridge and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Where that I think Granny Paint used to be there, and then there's a little deli place. Do you remember that? Excuse me, that inked octopus.
Yeah.
Mural, or I don't know what it was. It was cool. I like that. It was a old school piece. Trying to think of some other ones, but it's cool to see that, and then you see like the age on it and how long it lasts, and then next thing you know, there's like a brand new building there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't know. I really wish there was a public space for this type of expression in Knoxville, but
I've thought about trying to go to like city officials maybe and designing an art park. But like I don't know, it takes a lot of capital, and like I feel like it'd be great to do it like I don't know, like Morningside Park.
yeah,
Like just build a bunch of walls around there, or somewhere around Victor Ash, like on the outskirts of the fields, and just have like, because you could do, like people could get it on a public wall and like showcase what they got, but you could also do live events. You could do music. You could do it, make it family oriented or just artists. I don't care.
Yeah.
But like, it gives us an outlet. It gives us a space. Instead of a bunch of people saying, "Man, I really want to get this workout, but nobody wants to pay me because they don't want it on their wall."
right.
If you get a wall that's just
there to be
there
done
for that purpose,
Yeah.
That would be great. But
Knoxville has enough parks, and a lot of these parks are big enough. They could hold a wall or two.
you would think,
One would, yeah.
but like, you got to realize. Okay, so as artists, we're thinking of all the pros.
Right,
We're
with
thinking
the
about
logistics
all the nice
of it.
stuff about it. The city planner is going to be thinking about all these cons and contingencies and everything of like, well, what about the trash or the loitering, or is there going to be bad things going on, or is it
What are they going to paint on this wall?
what are they gonna, like, are they going to abide by the rules, or there's going to be a bunch of dicks and Nazi symbols or whatever?
I feel like there's always at least one dick, but I would prefer 100 dicks to one swastika. Like, give me all the penises. No swastikas, please.
You need to quote yourself on the
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah.
All the penises, no
All the-
swastikas. I would much rather see anatomy
But
than
yeah,
swastikas.
it would be cool, like for anybody that wants practice or is developing, or even just wants to try a spray can. I mean, you could even do like a class field trip on a public wall. And
Yeah.
like, all right, kids, here's what we're gonna do. Like I've done some schools. I haven't done something where it's like kid interactive yet, but like I think it'd be cool to like outline a wall and
And-
then have a bunch of kids like kind of paint by numbers
Yeah.
and get them accustomed to like with a brush or a can, and maybe that might spark an interest.
All right. So I've kind of thought about this because I had some free time when I got laid off of a job once, and I really wanted to like have some positive intent for the community and try to do some stuff with a group of kids. But I think it would have to be paint by numbers, unless you're
Right, yeah.
unless you're using spray cans with kids that are strong enough to motivate the spray cans. Because my son is 5, and even with those pistol grips that you get for Rust-Oleum cans and stuff, he really can't like squeeze the trigger just yet.
Oh yeah, I've seen those. Those are tough, man.
Yeah, I like them a lot. They're
My nephews, I've let them mess with the cans over at Jerry's when they did like a family day,
yeah.
and they got to hold the can in one hand and press it with the other.
Yeah.
So it's like they're holding like a squirt bottle,
Almost.
and when they press it, it's like they didn't have any kids gloves, so it's like oversized glove with this like finger flap over it, and it's like hitting the finger flap, so it's dripping everywhere. But like they're having fun, and
Yeah, so I think brush is the way to go. But
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. I really do.
well, I think about all the times that I was drawing in class, or was in my own head as I got older, and like those, I was so focused. I was in my own world.
Yeah.
And like kids are already doing that anyways, and instead of putting a tablet in front of them or a Game Boy Switch or whatever, put a brush or a can in their hand and like apply physical paint to
Yeah.
something,
Put colors on stuff.
put colors on stuff, man. And I feel like that is like so therapeutic and like developmental for like a child's mind. Like I think it's necessary, just for just a good, balance.
Do you have any of that in your workflow? What's your workflow like?
What do you mean?
Do you have any of that in like child's mind, beginner's mind, ethic, ethos in your workflow? Like okay, so if I were to call you and say, hey, let's do this, that, and the other, and where would it go from there? What's your workflow for your general piece look like?
Like the process of it?
Yeah.
Well, the fact that I do it for a living now, it's like, if I get contacted, it's okay. What do you have in mind? Like I'll pick apart your brain and I'll say, I need a picture of the location of the wall. I need the dimensions. I need to know the surface. I need the general idea. And then, as a business, I'm like, well, here's the deposit price and here's what it might cost. And we go through that process, and I'll try and say what I would like to do with their idea, and then they might refine it a few times. I do find myself like getting excited on a random idea that sparked, like their idea sparked something else in my head.
Yeah.
I go, oh, what if we did this? This would be really cool. And yeah. Like they always steer away from it, which is fine. But I'm like, oh, we could go this route.
Yeah.
Which it probably would. It's probably further from the concept that they're going for, but it would really stand out.
Yeah, it entertains you.
It entertains me. But the problem is, it's not my wall.
Right.
I don't own the building or the business, so I always tell them, I'm like, I just want you to be happy with the work because you got to look at it every day. I don't. Once I finish, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I'll
drive by occasionally.
I'll see it. I'll drive by occasionally, or I might eat at the place or whatever. But like, you got to, your employees every day, managers are seeing it, so like, we got to make sure it's good for everyone, and always try and hit that mark. I don't always hit that mark. I mean, there's some stuff where I'm like, shit, I could have done a better job, but if you're not your own worst critic as an artist,
yeah, then you might not be thinking about it hard enough.
I don't know. I'm not friends with any artist that's like, man, I'm hot shit or whatever. I wouldn't be friends with that type of person.
Yeah, I don't know a single one.
Did you see what I did the other day? I killed it.
Oh, dude, it was fucking great.
Like, that's the guy you don't want to have a beer with.
He'll probably tell you his business plan.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, in terms of workflow, there's so many variables at play that there's no steps 1 through 10
Right.
to do it. It's like you just adapt to it. Like whether it's client commission work or collaborating with another artist or just learning a new product or technique. Like I don't really have a workflow. I just I just adapt to what I'm presented with.
You find the means to the end.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. There's no. Yeah. I couldn't. I have no like concrete structure to it, and that's what I kind of like.
Yeah.
You
It's,
know.
it's super handy.
And in layman's terms, it's just kind of winging it, like winging it professionally. That sounds like sounds like an oxymoron, but like, yeah, it's like,
Sharks, I have an idea.
yeah,
I'm going to wing it professionally.
yes, yeah,
Well, so when you sat down, in I guess in your professional time with the art piece, do you find any sort of zen or flow state or anything in the
Yes.
process of creation for the client?
all the time. I put my phone on silent for like contacts and stuff. I mean, I'll still get like incoming messages and emails.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I put on my tunes. I put on Spotify when it's not fucking up.
Which is somewhere you can listen to this podcast, by the way.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, we're on
All right.
Spotify.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well. Fix your app, guys. No, it does. It cuts off, and then you'll be listening to a podcast, and it'll start it over. The desktop, like the updating, like the loading.
What? I didn't know this. Fix your shit.
It's like I'm not like trying to be a dick. It's like the app, the way for as popular as it is, and as like good as it is or can be, like the way it loads and like I don't know, the code or whatever. It sucks, but like it works. Like I'm not gonna like. I don't want to use like Pandora or whatever because it's so random but yeah, but I will get a soundtrack and I will tune out. Like today, I was probably getting stared at because I was bobbing my head to some trance music.
Yeah, and did you have your earbuds in?
I had my earbuds in,
So you were just
and there's people yelling at me probably, and they're like I always feel a little insecure when I'm painting and if I'm jamming out to music. Like when I was at the art park.
Yeah, I tried to yell good morning at you,
Yeah,
and your
I'm like-
and your headphones were in.
If I'm not, and like if you say like, "Hey, what's up, man? You're Curtis," and then like I don't acknowledge you because you can't really see the earbuds, and I'm just
Yeah.
painting. It's like, well, that guy's a dick. And
I said hello.
yeah.
Sir.
next thing you know, like you get like hit in the neck or something. But I don't ever, I turn it up and I zone out
Yeah.
in the content of the wall.
Yeah,
all
that's
the
that, I knew
detail.
you were in the zone because you didn't say
And,
anything
well, I mean,
back.
from another artist to another artist with a like a wall jam thing, you're gonna be like, oh, they're in their.
Yeah, I was just like, he's doing him. I'm gonna let
But
him
if
go.
you
I'm
were
gonna
just
watch
like, you're there with like your kid, and you walked by, and you're like, oh, this artist is a dick. Like,
it.
screw
He didn't say hello to my
He didn't-
kid.
yeah, he didn't smile or whatever. It's like, oh, like he's working, like so there's definitely like I will lose track of time. I get. I mean, with some of the music I listen to, I get like kind of
And
goosebumpy.
so-
Like I'm at a
those
show.
those songs aren't really short either.
No, the trance music songs, they're
No.
all like 6 to 8 minutes.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Even some of the ambient stuff, that lasts a while. I'll throw in a little bit of metal in there.
Just to balance it out.
Yeah, yeah, like anything that doesn't have too many lyrics and is really more melodic and just it progresses because you're out there for so long painting.
Yeah.
And it's like everything washes away, like paying bills and rent and
Yeah.
upkeeping everything and everything that costs money, insurance, all that bullshit
Yeah,
that's
for
necessary.
it doesn't matter for some reason.
It all kind of
somehow.
washes away when you got a good song playing and you get to do what you love and happen to get paid for it finally.
Yeah.
It took a while, but there's no better feeling than just not having to worry about all the day-to-day stressors that everyone has.
I think that's part of the I don't know. There's the shedding of some worry when you're somewhere for a specific purpose. Because once you get there and you're settled into the groove and you're doing the damn thing, all that kind of exterior shit just melts away.
Yeah, I'd be a way more grouchy, negative guy if I didn't do this. And I'm already kind of like a pessimistic, cynical. Like, I find a lighter side. Like I got like one side of me is like, I feel like I'm gonna be the old guy that's like, get off my lawn.
Shakes finger.
Yeah, like doesn't celebrate Halloween. The house lights are always off, and don't kick the soccer ball in Old Man Glover's yard because you won't get it back or something. Like I feel like I'm like that curmudgeon-y asshole sometimes, but like I'm also like when I'm around the right people, I'm a complete goofball.
Yeah.
Or if I'm around the people I like, or they appreciate what I do, it's a cool feeling to have.
Yeah, it's easier to
So,
be.
like I like being silly, but I'm also like, man, there's a lot of shitty things in the world. but but yeah, the artwork, the whole process, like we're talking about, that is my kind of my zen, my breakaway, and it's, I mean, it's a great. I mean, I'm sure it's along the lines, not to that degree, but of like adrenaline junkies, people that any kind of art form or activity that just makes you feel good. I just happen to paint.
Yeah, this is one of those questions that I really like to poke people with, because I feel like it becomes some form of moving meditation at some point, and I'm really curious when and how and what if people find it in their artistic flow, because everybody has a different workflow, everybody has a different style, everybody has a different everything pretty
Yeah.
much, and it's all relative to the person. But the interesting thing to me is that somehow, somewhere in this process, you find that zen moment or the flow state, or
Yeah.
that state of mind where you're just going and everything around you doesn't really matter anymore.
Especially if it's a nice day and like if you're working like for the big walls I work on, you're like, okay, I want to get this done today.
Yeah.
Like I want to get the face and the shoulder and everything, and maybe the shirt blocked in, and you get it done. And it's a beautiful day. You got your tunes playing. You brought a snack or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe you ran into some people, gave out your business card. Like you're just like, this all makes sense.
Yeah.
This is. I'm glad I'm doing this, and not stuck in a building somewhere. You know, doing something that I wasn't really,
Enjoying.
or didn't even need a free. I went to college and got a degree and a major and a minor, and I didn't. It was a mass comm major and graphic design minor, and I tried to. I'm a failed wannabe graphic designer. I graduated when the housing crisis hit in 07 and 08. And,
Oh man.
and graphic designers were a dime a dozen, and
Yeah.
nobody's hiring creatives. And I guess my portfolio wasn't that great, or maybe it was okay, but like maybe I didn't sell myself the proper way. But I'm glad I did. I'm glad I failed because I ended up jumping in the bar restaurant industry, and I just networked like crazy.
Which always helps.
Which I tell you what, man, I felt like a complete failure in a way I was, but most people work at a bar restaurant like during college to like pay bills and rent.
Yeah.
I graduated with a degree.
And then went to
and
work.
Yeah,
and then
so I was
worked
like,
in one.
Like, what an idiot. But,
Well, I mean, I worked in bars and restaurants, and I finally got out of bars and restaurants and
well, that's where
hospitality. Well, I guess I went from one spectrum of hospitality to the other, like bars, restaurants, catering, and then like
I'll
a
tell you
head
what,
shop.
man, that's where all my clientele started from. It was just word of mouth, and somebody needs some murals, and oh, Curtis can paint something, I think.
Yeah.
And people took a chance on me. I started my business off of the restaurant bar industry. So whether it's Jig and Reel or the First Watches or an Aubrey's
Yeah.
or whatever, like, just recently this local borough restaurant, understanding that mentality of the hospitality business
Yeah.
and being connected to it, like I said, how Knoxville is. It's the separation of knowing is very minute, and you do one thing and your name gets passed around, and so that actually I have that to thank, as like much as I was like, I don't need to be doing this for that long, like because it eats you up and spits you out.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm glad I have that network.
Yeah.
In the back of my mind, that like, and a lot of people I worked with, like, were my buddy Scott Nothan's running a successful solar panel business across the region.
Nice.
My buddy Nathan. He's like a construction developer guy. He can like build houses and like all sorts of custom stuff. I knew people that like became lawyers, started their own businesses, like all this entrepreneurial spirit
Because it was
because
all
you're
there.
grinding in the bar and you're meeting so many different people and it's a high stress environment. Like, you know, people need to be a lot kinder to service industry folks
Always.
because I'm not gonna say they're gonna sabotage anything, but like they
It
have
really,
a
it
way
really
more
helps.
stressful job than your 9 to 5 at an office. And just because you can afford to go eat at like a decent place doesn't mean you got to be a dick to them,
Right.
you know. So I have a lot of respect for like that industry. Um, you know, the people that are in. I kind of wondered that like when the whole pandemic hit, I was like, oh shit, what are all these people gonna do?
Yeah.
Like now's the time to figure out what you really want to do.
Because you got the time to do something about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, some people want to get into management and all that kind of stuff, which I could never do, but I didn't know what to think about that, and I kept seeing like a lot of social media posts where it's like, support this, support that, you know, buy a T-shirt or help this or bartender's fund. I'm like, geez, man,
Yeah.
you know, what are the options? It's tough. So
Yeah, that section of industry and hospitality was definitely hit really, really hard.
yeah,
And I just out of curiosity, I guess I joined some of like the Knoxville hospitality industry, like groups and stuff like that on Facebook, just to see what people were.
the turmoil.
Yeah, and it was eye opening. Like I didn't work any this week, and it's been 12 weeks since
Yeah.
I've worked, and
Yeah.
blah blah blah, and restrictions, and this company's not following guidelines, and these people don't care.
Oh, people were tattletaling on each other,
Hardcore.
and it was like it. Like again, you had to be careful. Like I understand that, and like it was really weird how this pandemic like empowered people, people that had no authority whatsoever, got to tell other people like how to act or what to do. A lot of people that had never been in charge of anything can now tell somebody, hey, you need to do this or do this is the like just a lot of people that just frankly needed to shut the hell up and just go about their day. But it's been an interesting time, man. I've kept busy actually because I paint outside alone. I'm wearing gloves and a mask anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So I stayed busy,
I mean,
thankfully.
in my line of work, there's 3 of us in the shop, and we got 3 people up front, and it's I don't. Exposure is appointment only, and you generally don't come back where I'm working, so it's not a huge deal.
Well, if you've seen it now, for me working and visiting other places like Gallenberg, when I just came back from, holy shit,
yeah, that place is booming
it's
right
a
now.
zoo right now.
Yeah,
And Knoxville, driving by, I was trying to get something to eat on the way home, working from the old city, and every patio was chock full. Pour merchants of beer, Field House,
yeah.
or the Hill. I drove by there.
Oh, that
was
place is always bumping.
Backdoor Tavern, Union Place, like everyone's just like, because it's this whole, this anxiety and this being sheltered, and everyone's just like, I gotta get out. And then now that springtime has hit,
Oh, it's
and
double.
the sun sets at 8:45 now, which I love, absolutely love, and the weather's warm, and the restrictions are kind of letting up a little bit. People are like, I'm going to have a patio drink. Fuck this.
Yeah. I'm going.
I deserve this. I'm getting out of there. And like, I don't even know what the COVID numbers are like, but I'm pretty sure they're going down. So like, I think it was like maybe a couple weeks ago, like around the Waverly Ballpark time, when I realized like, this is the moment that people are going, you know what? I'm not going to be scared of this thing anymore.
Well, last year when I went to the art park, as just a point of reference in time, like, she and I were like, are we going to wear a mask outside? Blah, blah, blah. You know, very, very curious of what the mood was going to be.
Just, just to be nice and, appropriate. And like, I mean, I do feel like you should wear one. I don't know about now. It's kind of up in the air, but like I wore one out of consideration for other people.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it never bothered me. It was never a burden.
Right.
Like it was never like, oh, I never debated it. I was like, okay, I'll get myself
Sure.
a little mask. I cut off a t-shirt sleeve
I did the same
and
thing.
I just wore it as like it looked like one of the what are those called?
A gator
Yeah, it
thing.
looked like one of those, and nobody ever gave me shit like about that's not the proper thing. And they were just like, oh, good, he's got at least
He has face covering.
he has something. I never really had anybody get my shit about it, and but the people that are doing that, those are miserable people.
So, we rolled up to the event. We're like, yeah, it seems like everybody's keeping their reasonable distance and there's no
Yeah.
like crowded large groups and it seems to be, all right. And we're outside. And so, we didn't stress too much about it.
I
But,
still have trouble when people like shake my hand recently.
man, there's a weird stigma
There's a
that's
weird
popped
like
up. Oh, where's my hand sanitizer? Oh, God.
but what's funny is like you didn't hear shit about the flu. Like people aren't getting like all these little
Yeah, the flus and colds and the minor inconveniences.
like because people are actually washing their damn hands and like not being
Wearing masks.
Yeah, not being disgusting. Which I'm like, I'm kind of glad. Like, now there's like more of a standard of
Expected hygiene, at least.
yeah, which is good. I mean, obviously it's terrible what happened to a lot of people, but it's good to like now like people are like conscious of like
there's a
wash my hands and I shouldn't poke in my face, all this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, it's been a weird time, man.
Well, that's kind of why I specifically asked the question of what's it like right now, because there's a
Yeah.
lot going on right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, from what I've seen in the public eye working out there, most people are cautious.
Yeah,
But
generally
there's also
cautious.
this kind of carefree with the weather changing, and they're not sheltered, and like the whole thing was like getting like vitamin D and having a healthy immune system, and that requires being active and getting
Yeah.
exercise. So, um, I don't blame people for getting out there and doing their thing, and going to a park or walking their dog or going for a run. Like, yeah, like looking at some of the numbers, it's like, well, the mortality rate was fairly low.
Yeah.
But if you had to be a certain way. I mean, everyone's body's different, obviously, but there was like a certain like age range, or whether you were like overweight or
Yeah, some
you had
contingency.
pre-existing conditions. Like it got after like a specific type of person, and to me, it only promoted being more healthy.
Yeah, the more, I guess, a higher quality of standard practices for being human was more common knowledge now. I
Now
guess.
I'm just saying, I'm saying what I've read and heard, and I go, well, that makes sense. Now I could be completely wrong and full of shit.
Well, there was no disclaimers that everything on this podcast is 100% correct.
Oh, okay.
No disclaimers ever that we know exactly what we're talking about.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm stating my opinion. So,
Exactly.
but yeah, if somebody wants to comment and send me a hate email, go for it. I probably won't read it, so too busy painting. But,
Right.
but yeah, it's been an interesting learning curve, and I thought doing what I did was going to die because, like I said, it's a luxury. But actually, more people called for projects because they didn't spend their budgets for that year.
Yeah.
So they had other stuff to spend it on,
Or the PPP monies and
or that,
or
which
whatever
I feel
else.
Like that went a lot towards like payroll and stuff,
Which it did,
which that was like forgivable, I think, through the government.
but you still
people
had
are
to
like-
spend it.
People were like, "Oh, we haven't spent our budget from last year, and it carried over, and we need something cool. Like, you down?" And it's like, "Oh shit, oh really?"
Yeah.
Like, I'd be happy to do that. So not everybody was hit because of this.
Well, like in my case, in my profession, being a professional sticker is what I like to call it. Plumbers and contractors and all the industry people like that, and construction and stuff.
Should have bought stock in like Unilever. And,
Yeah. We all fucked up there.
And then like lumber, I was just talking to my buddy. He said
The
like,
price of
lumber,
plywood is ridiculous right
it's
now.
like he told me he goes for a 2x4 right now, like 8 foot maybe, typically they're like $3.
Yeah.
I said they're going for like $8 or $9.
Whew. No, thank you.
So like times that by however much to build a house. Like that's why all these houses on the market are like crazy. Like I want to buy like a decent house, but dude, right now it's not even.
If you don't have cash in Knoxville right now, if you don't have several $1,000s worth of cash above asking price to throw at a house, you're not getting a house.
I've talked to some friends about that are looking to buy other houses, and they've saved up a lot of cash up front.
Yeah.
And they're still getting outbidded.
Yeah, dude, my boss is trying to sell his house right now,
Like,
and it's been a
you
cluster.
better have like 30% down or something. I don't even know the numbers, but like I've heard some stories where they're like, I had $20K to throw at this house,
and I still got
outbid, and I got beat out. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what's up in Knoxville housing market right now.
That's
crazy.
Yeah. The prices have been crazy. It's ridiculous, but
But we've ended up doing a lot of those companies' fleets or their boss's vehicles that they drive around to the job site to quote stuff. Like a lot of fleet vehicles, like construction companies, plumbers companies, you name it.
Doing the wraps
concrete, doing wraps for them.
Yeah.
Wraps and signage and business cards. Basically any print media, whether it goes on a vehicle or not, we've been covered up with.
What do you print? Is it like a vinyl thing?
Yeah, it's
how do you print those out?
So there are latex
about
printers, inkjet latex printers, and then there's these things called eco solvent printers, which are I don't know what the base mix is for that ink, but
Are you? I'm assuming your images are all like vectorized.
Yeah,
because I've seen some ones where I can see like the bitmap.
Well, most of them are vectorized, but we still.
I've seen like people take clip art from the internet, and then I see the pixels.
It happens
because they blow it up on the vehicle.
Yeah, it needs.
I'm like,
this
that
image
looks like shit.
This image needs to be 60 inches by 45 inches from a 2 megapixel JPEG or whatever, just some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Luckily, I work in an environment where the art made for the vehicles is rather optimized for that application, and I don't have to put a lot of terrible quality images on vehicles.
Nice.
I'm very thankful.
Do you make vehicle magnets?
We can do magnets, yeah.
Because I might need some from you for my
truck,
dude.
We can hook you up with.
I
want
to like slap it on and be like, hey, here's what I do in case you're curious.
Yeah.
Like
and then when you want to drive like an asshole on the freeway, you take that stuff off.
Exactly.
You take that stuff off.
You called me out on it. Damn it.
No. It's just everybody that's why they.
Well, no, it's like magnets. I went like the business name. I was like, you have a couple beers over here.
Right.
And they're like, oh, there's the artist. He's going to get inspired.
But yeah,
I want to. I think it's cool to like have a magnet and like put it on like the tailgate or the side and be like, okay, it's almost like you're clocking in. It's like the open sign, if you will, or on the air, like you're working, and it just
on the air.
It just shows that you're
doing the thing.
Like, hey, I'm kind of professional with a sign on my vehicle, but I don't want to keep it permanent.
Yeah, but that's definitely something
I might have to hit
that's in our wheelhouse. But yeah, we do all kinds of stuff like that, and I've been in many forms steadily busy since the Knox County COVID lockdown, blah blah blah. And it's really surprised the hell out of me because I wouldn't expect things to go that way, because there were the first couple of weeks where like everything was dead and nobody knew what was going on.
Yeah, when that March hit, I took a few weeks off and I was like, is this thing airborne or what the hell?
Dude, when Knoxville, it was my birthday when Knoxville City announced the lockdown last year. So I'm pretty sure we just came home and had pizza or whatever that day, and just it's like, well, I get a lockdown for my birthday. I
was more worried about like my mom and my grandpa passed back in the fall, but like it wasn't because of COVID. He was 96, so World War II vet.
Right.
Bless his soul. But we couldn't see him in the hospital.
Right.
That
sucks.
Which was shitty. Like my mom went, so like you can only have like one visitor, and she was the oldest child.
Yeah.
3. And she to go see my papaw at like Park West. She wanted to get her other brother and sister to come in, and they're like, no policy, like fuck you, like
this is it, and that's
like,
what it is.
This is my father. He's 96. Like,
yeah.
But I understand the protocols at place because of the spread of the virus. I could get it, but it's also like, come on. But then it's also like, if you do that for that person, then you have to do it for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and then the numbers might get bigger. So like, I see both sides, but also like
It's tough.
from like a human soul point of view, like, get out of my way. My siblings are gonna see my father.
Yeah,
He's
it's
sick. He's had like multiple bypasses, and like pneumonia could get him, And my mom ran into a pastor on the hospital floor of that section of the building and said, "Hey, here's the situation. Um, my brother and sister need to come see their father, and I know this hospital has a policy or whatever." And she kind of pleaded her case to the pastor, and he talked to like the desk or whatever.
Yeah.
And they let
Man, pull them strings.
they let so like I thought that was really cool, and then we ended up moving him out of like a rest home area or whatever, like one of those facilities, into like hospice care, and he ended up passing in my mom's bed, where we put a one of those like electronic beds with the feet in the back
Yeah.
thing, and
They're super comfy.
yeah,
They are.
I built this little ramp to get him up with the wheelchair to get him into my mom's house, and we took out her bed and put in his little electronic bed, and he held out just for like a day because he goes, "I got to get out of the hospital. I don't want to be here."
Yeah, that's fair.
It's very there's something with the heart, the soul, or whatever
Yeah.
you call it, the brain. Like, you got to be in a comfortable space. He ended up passing the next day. I got to talk to him and stuff, and then he was done. But there's something about spirit or will, and I've seen it before where people want to go a certain way, and they'll last so long
Until the thing happens.
until they're content enough to say, "Here's where I want to be when I go." And I got to see it, happen, and not to get all sad and stuff, but that was something I dealt with that was just like, man, like, it was so much more complicated to see him and to be around him during COVID.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't give him a hug. I'd have to. He was over at NHC out in Farragut, which is a pretty good facility, but like, people ended up getting, like, workers got COVID at some point,
Yeah.
where it's like, you fuckers aren't safe either. Like, what's going on here? And you got a bunch of old people. Like, we had to visit him like it was like we were seeing a prisoner.
Yeah.
We had to talk through the window, like, give him some window love. It was
Hand on the glass.
yeah, hand on the glass. Makes me think of was it Jim Carrey when he's like, "Oh, Billy," when he
Yeah.
puts his nipple against the glass. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's detracting big time. But yeah, we had to like talk to him through the window, and we couldn't be inside. We couldn't touch him and all that stuff. And it's like that. Like, we may not. I hope we don't experience that again. Apparently, it happens every 100 years, maybe in 3020 or something. I don't
Maybe.
know. We'll see.
I won't be around for that one.
If we're still around for
I won't
that
be
shit.
around for that one.
If the world's not fucking blown up, but that was just such a weird premise, like a way to live.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And it's still going on, but not as bad. But I think it's gonna take another year for people to be like, remember that when we had to wear face masks and da-da-da. It's still a thing.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, I saw a thing that Bonnaroo just announced their lineup.
Yeah,
for the
they announced
fall.
their lineup.
There's other people at Mill and Mine. There's concerts coming out. I see a bunch of and comedians are posting shows now. Like, it's gonna take a lot of social distractions in the next year for us to forget about this whole
Yeah, for sure.
being careful mindset. But
I mean, how bad do you miss live music right now?
I wasn't too upset about it. I don't know. It was like, man, I really want to go see a bunch of bands, and so my buddy, my best friend, Mikey, got us tickets for Rage in New York.
Ugh.
And they sold out within minutes for the first 3 nights. They snuck in a fourth night after 30 minutes of posting shows.
Yeah.
And they just came out with a fourth night. He bought the tickets. Well, they canceled. They just Ticketmaster Ticketmaster just now offered a possible refund, and they're going to reschedule for 2022.
Just now?
Just now.
In 2022?
They're rescheduling for 2022, but they just now offered him a refund for a show that's supposed to happen back in December.
Dude,
And
that's crazy.
well, that's a racket online.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Live Nation event, all that kind of stuff.
I was supposed to last year I was supposed to go see Pigeons playing ping pong at the
Yeah,
Miller
that's
Mine.
one of the chances. For
Yeah,
bands
I
and
was
stuff,
I was actually trying. He was going to paint, and I was trying to muscle my
yeah,
way
he
in there and
painted
paint.
there, Papadocia and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I was really trying to go paint pigeons because one of my buddies runs a Sauce Entertainment, and I did the after party poster. So I was like, and I really love pigeons. So I
Did
was
you
like,
get chances? One of his print? You got one?
yeah, I got one of Chance's prints.
That
It's
crazy
really great,
psychedelic-
everybody. Dude, yeah, it's in my studio right now. It's sitting on my desk.
Dude, I like that. I tell him, I go, you need to be doing more of that shit, man.
Yeah, it's wild.
Don't stop, man. Because he was one of the first guys I met. I used to do. Did you ever do the Midnight Voyage stuff?
We're talking about Chance Loescher, by the way, Professor Rainbow. I had him on recently, if we post this in chronological order. But no, I never did any of the Midnight Voyage shows. And I think he and I just hit on different waves of the Knoxville creative timing spectrum,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well,
He hit that whole scene a little before I came onto it. So he had his own thing, and I have my own thing.
I was in and out of that scene, and I didn't really get it. But like, you could go see a free show, and you paint live.
Yeah.
And you do your shit. Like, you do whatever you want. And he introduced me to a lot of like local arts, and got me in on that scene. And like we went to this festival that lasted a couple of years and then died. And they set up, their little art tents and stuff like that. It was a cool scene with some other people, and we just paint live at shows, and whether it's like Emancipator, Bonobo, or
Yeah.
I remember there's like a Daft Punk tribute DJ group that came through Valerium at one point, which sucks because Daft Punk just.
I
broke up.
know.
I did a Daft Punk piece and gave it to my buddy just as a gift because he's a huge fan. But yeah, it was just this little microcosm of artists doing live shit and hearing some cool, trippy music and
Yeah.
people wearing whatever and, kind of come as you are.
Boy and hoops and God knows what else.
And I'm like, I am not into that scene at all. I am not that guy. But I'm also like, this is kind of cool it exists.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
I don't get all that stuff. Like I mean, I went to college in Asheville, but definitely not hippie. I went there to play baseball, so I'm like this like weird art jock hybrid. So
Yeah, I played baseball in high school,
okay,
so
well
I
there
get
you
it.
go.
Yeah, it's
So,
a
like-
weird
so
mix.
like you can like there's like this balance. Like I keep the athletic like prowess or the aggression like in the marketing business aspect, but then the art part, the creativity,
yeah,
like,
it's
can
just
be
super.
a little kind of
Yeah,
the hippy dippy realm. So like, but there's a good balance to it. But like I was never I've never had dreads. I've never like. And I'm like white bread when it comes to it. Like I'm boring. Like,
oh man, I love painting live shows at.
I love
at
the atmosphere.
Oh, dude, it's so much
I love
fun.
the feeling you get, and everyone's just like,
So happy to
down
be
to have a
there
good
and
time.
shit. Yeah,
yeah. Well, I mean, whether you're on some stuff or not, I don't really care. But they appreciate the art,
right.
and if you're an artist, you're like, thanks. It's just like a little,
It's nice.
confidence booster, and maybe you might sell a painting.
Maybe.
I did sell a couple randomly that I didn't expect, and they were like, "This is awesome, thank you." And I don't even know where they're at now, but take a picture of them and document them.
Right.
But yeah, those. So yeah, I do miss live music and listening to a lot of the electronic stuff. Like I went to Ultra a few times in Miami, and seen some shows in Atlanta, and I do miss it because it's, I don't know, like when you go to a show that you really want to see. I mean, I think and talk about it for the next month or two,
Oh, definitely.
where I'm just like, God, like you gotta catch that lightning in a bottle. Like
Yeah.
I want that feeling again. It's its own drug.
Yeah.
Its own drug.
It's definitely
is-
its own rush
is
for
that-
sure.
Is that feeling of being in the moment and having that music just pulsate through you with a sound system,
Mm.
and I dance like an idiot anyways.
Who doesn't? I'm just
Yeah.
throwing it out there. Who doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, I've the only thing I feel bad about, especially when I went to like some metal shows and stuff, where everyone's kind of, I mean, unless you like jump up and down and are in a mosh pit, like I'm like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, we're big dudes.
You're a big dude
Yeah,
too.
we're big dudes.
And like whenever I go to a show like at Mill Mine, I'm always self conscious of
like who's behind me
the
that
4 or
can't
5
see?
people behind me, and I'm like, I know like they can move if they really want to, but I know I'm always gonna be obstructing somebody's view.
Somebody's.
So I'm always like enjoying the show, and then I'm like, am I being an asshole right
Damn,
now?
the person behind me.
For me, so like I've actually like anybody like short at some festivals and stuff, I'll put them on my shoulders, or I'll try and lift somebody up, or like get them a crowd surf.
Yeah, dude, lifting up people to crowd surf is so gratifying.
I haven't done it at Mill and Mine. I'm talking about like Ozfest in Texas and techno shows in Miami and shit like that. But
it's great.
Mill and Mine, I don't think you're allowed to. But
that'll get put to the test at some point, I'm sure.
I'd like to see a metal band come through there and just wreck that whole floor.
Oh, dude, I know, and it's such a good such a good concert.
It'd be funny to see like a ring of death like inside, and then see a wall of death like when they mash together.
Yeah,
is that that's what that's called? Right?
Yeah, a wall of death, a circle pit, and a wall of death. I've done both of those. I've done both of those, and I love them equally. Yeah. I've been to a lot of metal shows.
I was my first show. I was 17 and I was on crutches, and I went to Ozfest '99.
Oh my god, that sounds terrible.
That's when but that's when like Godsmack got started, and this was the second stage. System was playing, Static X, Seven Dust, Rob Zombie, Black Sabbath.
That was a banner year for Ozfest.
It was nuts, and I was on crutches, and all these like metalhead dudes, and also like I was like like a junior, whatever in high school. So so we were the dorks that like would put on the shirt during the concert. We were like, yeah. And I remember these guys were like, dude, you're a trooper with the crutches, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And so they would offer me like these big 32-ounce beers. Which
you want a beer?
I was drinking anyways. I was like, I don't get to drink after you. Like, shit. And I was like, I don't know where you've been. but it was cool. And then like I went to this Freakers Ball show where it was like Cold Chamber and Slipknot. And Slayer played at that Ozfest.
Oh, man.
And
Slayer.
so like I went through a couple like mosh pits, and I crowd surfed during a Family Values tour.
That's great.
It was Limp Bizkit and Filter.
Yeah.
And Korn.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever crowd surfed, but as a lanky ass dude,
it's so weird.
It's like you feel like a creepy crawl, like a centipede, because everyone's like touching you.
You cover so many people.
And this was in Reunion Arena in Dallas, and I think Limp Bizkit was on, I forget, but I'm going in, right, and we're like in the middle, like like basketball court area, and I started in the middle, and I'm getting pushed, and like there's this cold draft of air above everyone, and I always feel bad for like the really short, like little like metal chicks. And
dude,
stuff
I know,
like that,
it's so bad.
They're like suffocating.
They're like 5'4",
and like all us tall guys are getting like this, like the nice AC hitting our heads. And we can breathe. And I remember like it was really cool, and I could see like this whole, it was like a fisheye view of all the crowd, and I'm going like fast, and my head's going towards the stage.
Yeah, so your feet are
and
facing
I'm like, oh shit,
this is not the right way.
Well, like I feel like Wile E. Coyote hitting a cliff, and everyone usually in front got there early. And they stay there, because they're diehard fans, and they hate crowd surfers because they're
always getting kicked.
Get out of here! Like I'm trying to enjoy my show, and so I remember I was getting off of the crowd surfing thing, and I got flipped. So I got flipped inverted. My legs go over my head, and this big like Kevin Nash wrestling looking dude, if you know who that is.
Yeah, dude.
This guy catches me in midair while I'm inverted.
Dude, always so thankful for the dudes working the stage.
Me, and I'm this, I was skinnier, but like I'm still like daddy long legs. He catches me and he goes, "Get out here," and I go, "Thank you so much, man." And I try to give him a hug. He's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" I was like, "You don't realize you just saved my life." And he's like, "Yeah,
get out."
And I walked out to the, all the way to the back, and then had to work my way back up again. And then we put somebody else up there. But being the taller guy, I was like, I could always leverage people.
Yeah.
So I would throw them up, and I just like wave to them like
Hey,
bye.
bye.
Like, it was fun. Like I miss those days, and like you don't see a lot of like crowd surfing mosh pit stuff
Dude,
like situated venues,
so
which is bullshit.
I have crowd surfed and mosh pitted in the Civic Coliseum
Really, what
and
show?
Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax.
That sounds
The
like
big
fun.
oh, dude, the big three
Did you
show.
see? Did you
It's
see?
great.
Well, I guess it was Perfect Circle when he came through.
No, I missed that show, but I did get to see Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie several years ago.
Okay. Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah, they came through the Coliseum. That was great. And then the rest of them have been at the Valerium when it was the Valerium.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of metal shows during that venue's
Yeah.
tenure.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
Yeah, I've seen 10 years there quite a few times.
Yeah.
I met some of those guys. They're super nice. Actually, I got some art pieces I want to do for Jesse and Matt. It'd be cool to collaborate with those guys because they've been around forever. Their first two albums were big to me in college. That like when I got in like my dark moods and shit like
Yeah.
that, with the sketchbooks, like all that cryptic stuff. Just because his voice was so like melodic, and then just the music was so like just kind of down and heavy. I really enjoyed just their tunes.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can relate to this, and just put me in a mood, like you said, like a trance, and it made me want to work and do like. I mean, yeah, it was like dark shit, but like,
But still, the headspace was the same.
yeah, it's like man, like that's the one thing I can't sing or play an instrument to save my life. So when there's somebody's doing something like that I like that makes me do my craft,
Yeah.
like I appreciate them tenfold because it's a catalyst for what I do.
So, do you find a lot of inspiration from other people doing their, not so visual art forms, or do you get a lot of inspiration from visual artists on top of that?
A lot of things I get, like, well, visually, yes. There's some things where I'm like, ooh, I like that, and then like you have your own idea and you can apply it because I mean, basically with the internet today, we're all pulling secondary sources.
Yeah.
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 Make it our own. Like there's not a lot of things that are original anymore.
Yeah. And we
so-
got to get used to that real quick.
Yeah, and there's some people that are doing their own thing, and kudos to them. And like I have original ideas too, but like we're always pulling references. That's what the art world is,
Mm.
But I was just talking to a guy today that stopped by the mural, and he was talking about he had a Tacoma as well, and we were talking about adding on stuff and welding and stuff like that. I love welding. I don't do it, but I love people that can work with metal.
Yeah.
Like Preston Faribault that is around here. He's badass. Jake Parsons, who does like Toyota custom stuff. He's like this metal artist that does some really cool shit. People that even do like hardscape, like landscaping. James Artman, that runs his own business. He does these crazy elaborate designs that are all like terraforming and stuff. Anybody that's using their hands and creating something, I appreciate. So it could be a printmaker, a DJ, somebody built architecture, custom cutting, trim molding, or building a facade, all that kind of stuff. I appreciate and I do get inspired by. And sometimes if the design suits my needs, I'll interpret it in a way to, maybe put it in some work. So, basically, anybody that likes to get dirty. Don't read into that, but I just have an appreciation because this day and age, it's so easy to just stay inside and not really, work off a computer and like be sedentary. The people that are actually doing shit and building things with their hands and creating, I have an appreciation for.
Well, I know how much of my workflow is digitally based. Like, what would you say yours is like? 70-30 physical, digital?
That's pretty good because I go through a lot of like mock up, like with my mock up designs, I'll offer like 3 revisions, and then also just all the consultation
Yeah.
online and having to like post the finished product. I say you're right. Maybe more. It could be more like 75-25 or 80-20. But that's necessary this day and age, just for
Yeah, definitely.
convenience. But I cannot be I could not be a graphic designer. I couldn't be a like a web illustrator and just sit there. As cool as all the tech is, like I got to get out in the sun.
Yeah.
I got to sweat a little
There's
bit.
something about being outside.
I got to transform a wall into something that a bunch of people are going to see and like or not like or criticize the shit out of it. I don't care.
The drunk passerbys in the old city. Ah!
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny. Like, um, I've had people shit on my work. It's fine, but I would rather be the guy creating. I'd rather be criticized than than be the one saying other things about other people.
Because you did something at
Because
that
I
point.
did something. It's so easy to share your opinion on any platform this day and age. I don't really have time to, bitch about those things or say what should be what. And I'd rather have somebody. If somebody wants to talk shit, go for it.
Yeah, let
What
them.
have you done lately? Like,
Call them out.
like exactly, like everyone that wants to, say how things should be. Well, it's like, well, what are you doing about it? I'm out here doing what I'm doing,
Mm.
and I love it. And you may not like all of it, and that's okay. But at least I'm doing something. At least I'm going after it. At least I, had the balls to try this out, and I don't know where it's going. So when it comes to any kind of like criticism or negativity or whatever, it doesn't matter because that person took the time to message you or type something out or post something to bitch about your artwork. And meanwhile, that just tells me they have nothing going on in their lives.
Nothing better to worry about.
They have nothing better to worry about except be a keyboard warrior and bitch about things when it's like a nice spring day and you can go out and go for a jog or go on a picnic or hike a hill or go to House Mountain or
Right.
hang out with your family or friends. Like you're in here online trying to shit on somebody's occupation.
When you could just be out enjoying
You're
your day.
you're a loser. You're just a turd. Who cares? So I don't really care about that kind of stuff. So it is kind of funny. But yeah, I don't know. I stay busy and I'm thankful for it and I'm glad I get to do what I do. So yeah.
Well, I mean, it's always good to stay busy. It's a privilege to be busy.
It absolutely is.
Yeah, for sure.
I never take it for granted, and I always try and hit my mark if I can. I know I don't always do it, and there's other things I can work on to get better. But at least I'm trying, and I'm not, sitting on my hands telling people what they should and shouldn't be doing or how to do it. And um, I'm here to create. We're here to create.
Right.
Put something in the world that makes you happy, and if it makes other people happy, even better. And if you can get paid to do it, even
Oh yeah.
times better.
Way better.
I mean, that's kind of the dream of it all, and that's what I've slowly figured out. And I wish I would have started doing this a lot sooner. But we all go through our process. That kind of stuff happens.
So I now since we've covered those bases, I have to ask, if you weren't a professional creative person, what kind of day job would you want to have?
Whew. Well, it would still fall in the line of being creative. My dream job when I was in high school, I wanted to work for Pixar.
Oh hell yeah.
I wanted to be an animator, and then I realized those guys live on computers.
Yeah, they do.
Now, I would have gladly traded probably living on a computer for high 6 figure salary or whatever those guys. Because I remember when like one of my favorite movies is Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
And then I was in high school when the Toy Stories first came out. I was just like, man, like this is crazy how this CGI thing is getting so much better. and like all the special effects. It would have had to be creative. If not, so I went to college to Asheville to play baseball, and I'm a burnout baseball player. I had Tommy John surgery and everything.
The whole thing.
Oh yeah, they
So you pitched.
I pitched. Yeah, I did well my freshman year in JUCO in Texas, and then transferred to Nashville, and my elbow slowly kind of deteriorated. I never really fully recovered. Started enjoying college too much. Graduated, hung them up, and that was it. I would have liked to have been a professional baseball player because that's just, I mean, that's American boy's dream. Right
Yeah,
there.
it's yeah. That's
So that would be like my non-creative pipe dream. But uh, man, I would not. If you're asking for like a non-creative type job that I like in an alternate universe,
yeah. Earth 2.
I couldn't give. Yeah, I couldn't give you. I couldn't give you a legitimate answer because everything I've done leading up to now, even though it wasn't where I wanted to be, it was still creative. I was still applying paint or building something or making something look cool in a certain way, whether it was, you know, fatiguing a kitchen cabinet
Right.
and dinging it up or putting gold leaf on a frame or, you know, even when I was working in the bar industry, I was doing the chalkboards and I was doing little
Yeah.
mini murals and shit like that.
The sandwich boards and
Yeah,
menus and all that stuff.
I'd make up the menus for like Christmas and Valentine's Day, and use my graphic design skills with that, and you know, I don't, I couldn't see myself like settling to like sell insurance
Yeah, me either, man.
or
Really.
some sort of desk job like calls. And no, if I have friends that are into that stuff, and kudos to you, but I couldn't fucking do that, man.
No, me. I don't think I could either.
I couldn't push a product like that and make a career out of it forever. I don't know how people do that. I commend them for it. I don't know. It's scary to think about doing that for like 20, 30 years, but it's not for me. So everything I've ever done has some level of creativity to it that I couldn't even make up a job for you. Like, I would be better off doing this. Like I couldn't think of one
Right.
because I've just never felt that way. So
So the unimaginable post is the job for Curtis Glover on Earth 2.
yeah, I can't give you a legitimate answer. I wouldn't be like I'd be a firefighter, a Navy pilot, or no. I would just I mean, besides the baseball thing, uh, no. Unless I was like one of those people that got like paid to travel.
Somehow.
Yeah, like those influencers or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I'd kill myself if I was an influencer. Jeez.
It's a weird place to be in
I think
society.
I'm in my late 30s. I think I missed the cutoff line to be one of those types of people. I don't have TikTok or any of that bullshit. So Instagram's enough to post my work on it. And if I was not an artist, if I was not anything visual, say I was like a CPA or something or whatever, just some corporate job, I wouldn't have any social media.
Yeah, I mean there's
There's no point.
what are you gonna share? Like your latte? Like
Yeah, like, here's a picture of my appetizer at Applebee's or whatever.
my 2 for 20s.
Like you know, Saturday's for the boys or whatever. Like who gives a shit? Like
Margs.
yeah, it's there's I mean it's more power to everybody and but I would not like in my personal life like I don't post that shit.
Yeah.
Like I mean I've posted stuff about my dad and like mom's birthday.
But there's not a lot of bleed over, is what you're saying.
No, yeah, no. It's like here's the work, and I like to keep that what it is because I like to keep that identity of like artist.
Yeah.
You don't need to know that I like went to a city and had dinner there or whatever. Like it's just who gives a shit. If anybody's gonna ask me about it, it's gonna be my friends that I see in real
Right.
life.
The ones that want to know.
And I'll say that was a cool time. You should go, man. Maybe we should get tickets and go do this thing. It's I don't know, but everyone's built differently. Different things mean different other things to people, and so just different levels of importance that some people want to share. We want to share things by nature. I just don't give a shit about it most of the time. I'm too busy trying to paint something and hit a deadline and you know, make a decent career out of it, and I just happen to share it. But yeah, if my business was not visual, I wouldn't have any of that stuff. I mean,
Yeah, that's
I got
fair.
family members that don't have any of that stuff, and they're just fine.
Yeah.
They're happily married, and their kids are awesome, and they have a great life, and they don't need to share any
And
of
they're
that.
not worried about who tweeted what.
They're not worried about that. It's such a distraction, man. It really is. I think it alters your perception. To me, it's really toxic. I think because it puts thoughts in your head that don't need to be there. When you can just go outside and do something fun
Like,
and
swing on the porch for a little while.
yeah, take your dog to a park or whatever. Who cares about what somebody said about something that you might be affiliated with? It doesn't matter. It's all fodder.
Fodder.
It just doesn't. It's just silly. So I don't know. I mean, we're wasting time even talking about it. To be honest with you.
but we're enjoying this, so it counts for something.
Well,
Right?
yeah. Well, I feel like we're on the same wavelength, so we're both kind of shitting on it. But like at the same time, it's like kicking a dead horse,
Yeah.
So
Well, speaking of kicking dead horses, I fielded some questions from my Instagram followers between right now and when you said
Yeah?
you were here.
What were the questions?
So I got two,
Uh-oh.
and they're both from pretty decent artist friends of mine. So I was happy I got some response. And
Hopefully they don't hate me.
no, they're actually well, they're both really good questions, and one of them came from a very elevated state of mind. So I'll ask you that one next.
Sure.
My friend Ethan asks, "What do you wish you had known when you started making art for real?" I guess if there's any knowledge you wish you'd had that you gained as a professional when you became a professional, you wish you had.
Does Ethan do the same thing too?
No, Ethan's not a professional creative, but he is a very artistic person.
Have a business model. I wish okay. And this is just something they should do in the entire country is you should figure out that you should have a course on taxes,
Yes,
filing taxes,
for sure.
and there should be like take a course on small business. Um, however you want to situate your business. It, man, I learn something new every week, dude. I try something. I go, boy, that didn't work. That was shitty advice or whatever, and then I figure it out. And like I said, it's just trial by fire. Um, have a business plan. So like if he's an artist as well, like what do you charge per inch per painting or per square foot per mural? Do you offer incentives to protect it? Um, you know, do you do your preferred style or do you adapt to the client? One, like I said, I wish I would have started sooner. But two, is you got to go in with a game plan and an expectation of what you want
Yeah.
because you're going to get thrown a lot of curveballs from the client.
Yeah. So if you don't have some expectations, nobody might have.
Yeah,
some.
like I've like put it in my mind recently. Like I won't do jobs under a certain amount anymore, just because it's not like it's a waste of time. It's not going to help me at all.
Right.
Like if somebody wants me to do some like small time signage, which I've like committed to before, like it doesn't get me anywhere. It's not creative. So like I've tried to prioritize like the degree of projects in terms of creativity and what's going to help me out the best. But that comes with experience too, with by kind of eating shit up front.
Yeah.
You're going to go through a lot of crap, and then but then your name's going to get passed around enough where people are going to go, oh, this person stays busy, and now that when I get emails, I go, I know you're busy, but
Hey, can you do?
would you consider this? And when I say no, they go, I thought so, understandable, instead of like, really,
Yeah.
like I don't see anything you do, so why would you not take this job for X amount of dollars?
Right.
Going with a business model. You gotta kind of have, and this where it comes back with like the baseball thing is like you gotta have like this aggressive mindset. Defend yourself. You may like you may not be where you want to be like at this current moment, but do something every day, like out of habit, like a daily ritual. Whether it's like sketch for 30 minutes or research content. I mean, I got folders upon folders of just data of things I go, that would be cool one day if I could combine this somehow and make this
Yeah.
idea work. Really like what I saw here. Like I'm always being inspired, so I'm always taking some sort of notes, saving things. But in terms of like, yeah, I wish I would have known how to. I wish I would know how to write a better proposal for clients to where it looks way more serious
Yeah.
than just I'm going to hire this art guy to paint some shit. Because it's like they like it's not taken that seriously. It's because it's like the creative hippy dippy
Right.
aspect of it. But if you show up with like a organized document of like covering A through Z, they're like, oh, this person takes themselves seriously.
Right. There's more
So like
provenance.
I even still need to do this to this day, but make a Google document. And when somebody says, hey, I saw you did a thing or whatever, and I'm interested, send them like an automatic form where it's like address, content, or ideas, like quote for deposit and revisions and cost of the mural and time frame, scheduling. Do I need a boom lift or scaffolding?
Yeah.
And then people are like, oh, they're in tune. They're really serious about this.
Yeah, I mean, if you can give a person expectations of what assets you need up front, then there's a clear
And even
understanding.
if like you haven't done much, create that type of persona.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you can say fake it till you make it, but I hate that damn phrase. But um, what I learned is, and I've said this before to a lot of people, if you take yourself seriously, in turn, people will take you seriously. So, and that's it's when somebody realizes that they know who they are and respect themselves and what they do, that person will be like, okay, I'm dealing with somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
And whether you're a beginner or you're 10 years into it, like there's just a level of comfort and respect that's given based off of that. So, the best thing is having that confidence, taking chances, fuck up. Um, I've done some things where I have canvases in my living room that I've painted over 10 times because I'm like, oh, this is gonna be so cool. Like I can't wait to do this. I'm gonna have this whole series for like a first Friday, run this awesome show. And I look at it, it looks like shit. That's why.
Nope. Swipe.
That's why like I have 0 tattoos because I know it one day I'm gonna see a better version of what I drew. And and I've drawn tattoos for people, and they're like, you should be a tattoo artist. I'm like, well, I don't like needles, and I go, nobody's gonna hire a tattoo artist. There's like something about a rite of passage.
Yeah, for sure.
But like I wouldn't trust a guy with no tattoos to stick
To
the needle
tattoo
in.
me,
I'd be like,
yeah.
you don't know what it's like, punk. But
Punk.
yeah, basically, I wish I had known how to look, act, and feel more professional when starting this business. Because there's no course on this.
Yeah, there's no like this is how you do it, kids.
There's no master class or
No,
whatever.
there's
no
not.
college course to and that's the thing with art majors is they're not taught how to sell their work. They're just told to create stuff and have like a senior capstone
Yeah.
in whatever medium, and then they go okay,
Off into the world.
and then next thing you know, they're bartending, serving burgers and shit because nobody wants to hire them, and they're never taught to apply their skill to the real world. Unless you just luck out and get in galleries early on.
Yeah, somehow.
And then you transition it, into that. But like taking a business course would not hurt. Financing, figuring out your finances and where the money's coming from, how much you make to how much you spend a month, and just kind of learning the system of what you owe or what you will owe. But it comes down to attitude. Like you got to realize, like how lucky we are to even just be human beings on this earth.
Oh man, the odds of anything else happening were so high.
Like the fact that we're just talking a microphone and a language we've both learned in like the country we're in this world as human beings. Like we hit the lottery in like the organism world.
The longer that sentence gets that you just said, the smaller the odds get that thing actually happens. Like the more pieces you add to this puzzle, the more complicated it gets.
And that comes down like that makes me realize like I'm glad what I'm doing right now, and it took me a while, and I feel like I wasted so much time. But like, why would you not want to do something you really enjoy, or if you have a talent for? Why not go after it 100%? Like, it makes no sense to settle for anything less. And not everyone's creative. Not everyone can paint or make music or whatever or work with their hands. Like, we all need different types of folks in the world. But if you have that knack or that ability, you have zero excuse to not get after it.
Oh, for sure.
There's no excuse. There's zero. Like, you can't sympathize with me. Like, you can't tell me otherwise. Why are you not doing something? If you have something that's can be done from your head, through your heart, out of your hand, on paper, canvas, wall, whatever,
Yeah, for sure.
why are you not doing that? So it comes down to how bad do you want it and what do you want out of your life? And so, I'm giving this is all like vague, general, obvious advice, but that's essentially what it comes down to. I'm sick of seeing all this motivational bullshit in the world. That's all common sense. You know, all this like self help crap. You either want to do it or you don't. And if you don't appreciate the willpower you have as a human being
To go and
to
create
go
and
just
do and
do it,
achieve.
then I don't have sympathy or time to even listen to you. Um, and I've met those people that have wanted to help or collaborate, and it's like they show up one day or two, and then they go, well, "It's too hot, or it's too cold, or I don't want to do this," or it's like, "Fuck it, I don't got time for that."
Yeah, and it's a waste of your time too, for sure.
Yeah, and I'd love to I want to start an internship at UT and get some hungry art kids to like help out and maybe do like real world application
Yeah.
and maybe pay them too as well and get college credit. And they go, oh shit, I can do this too. Then,
Yeah.
well, go do it, man. Don't wait for a chance.
Yeah.
You got to make things happen. And so there's nothing more satisfying than kind of working for yourself, and nobody's gonna light a fire under your ass.
Yeah, you definitely have to light that fire yourself.
Either one or you don't. It's business, relationships, whatever. Either one to or you don't, and that's what it comes down to. Um, some people are more willing to take chances than others, and I get that we're all built differently. But I don't have time to give Tony Robbins motivational advice.
Tony Robbins.
You either want to or you don't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and convince you otherwise.
So, do you want that second question?
I'm a little scared, but yeah, go for it, man. Okay.
So, the second question is, if art was energy, how would you channel it? And is energy technically art, or is existence itself art? So that's a multi-part question.
This person was pretty high when they had
Very high. I know this person personally.
Art energy?
If art was energy, how would you channel it? I think you do a good job of that because it ends up on a wall, right?
Yeah. Now, I'm thinking more like cartoony style. I'd be like Ryu or Ken and do like a Hadouken on the wall. Start slapping murals everywhere with energy balls. Yeah,
and
man.
then just there it is.
Yeah, like some Raiden stuff and just like electrocute the wall, and that's more fantasy.
And then there it is.
Yeah. How do I channel the energy? I mean, it is what it is. It's the feeling I get from the music I listen to, or the influence I hear, or the person I meet.
Do you feel like a conduit sometimes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love like connecting people and then visualizing something cool. Like for instance, the Gatlinburg Wall at the Mexican restaurant. That model that I used is on that wall forever in that building. And at some point, those people will connect, and she'll go into that restaurant and go, "That's me."
Yeah.
And, there's a tie there, all because I got to paint something, and I happen to use that reference with that photographer. Yeah, absolutely, like a transfer, just like you said, conduit. Yeah, like the energy is the art.
Yeah.
So like I can't get all like metaphysical or whatever. That's how I work. That's my life. Is you come to me with an idea or something, or you just come to me, period, and you go, hey, I'm thinking about this thing, and then I go, oh, and then like a little synapse hits, and I go, what if we did this? that's channeling that energy. Your input is becoming my output.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, you're exactly right. There's that. It just gets toggled around in my device, and then blap, there it is on the wall. And that's cool. I love the people that like you hear this all the time, and especially if you're like designing stuff on your apps, you're like people will say, "I don't have an artistic bone in my body," or "I can't draw a stick figure." All these like cliche bullshit things they say to
But
artists.
but if you can articulate your idea to
But if
me,
if you can tell me, and then obviously the reason why the revisions need to happen is because I have a version of it in my head, you have a version of it in your head,
and they need to meet
and they need
somewhere.
to meet. So
Yeah,
you go through that process, and then once you find that middle ground, I go, "Oh,
that's
yeah,
that's the thing.
that's what I was trying to get at."
Yeah.
That's the best feeling in the world. That's what makes me feel good.
Oh man, when clients pick up cars at work and we did a stripe package or
Yeah.
put the advertising on their van and they're just like, yes,
They're like, "Dude, like nailed it," and
yeah,
you're like,
it's great.
I got just gave me goosebumps thinking about it right now.
Well,
Making somebody happy.
perfect example today. We had a 2019 Chevy Camaro come in for a really custom stripe package that pulled some reference from a couple different classic Camaros and like some 70s psychedelic stuff. And the dude come in, he barely drives the thing, super takes care of this car, like garage kept, barely sees the sun. And we put these stripes on there. Probably the first time he's had anybody other than mechanic to change his oil touch this car.
Really?
So so we do it, and he's in the shop, and he picks it up today, and he's walking around the car. Shit! Yeah! This is
Yeah.
exactly what I was talking about.
That's
and
so cool, man.
seeing customers strut around the shop and just be like, oh, man, my car looks so damn sweet now, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Man,
it feels so great.
I love that. That's the best feeling in the world is when you nail that visual. Also, one of my favorite things is, and this is a reference to like the alleyway piece with the rose hands,
Yeah.
the koi fish wallet.
That's actually when I met you for the first time. I saw you painting that
Oh,
piece
yeah?
years ago. Yeah.
I did that. That was a personal one, but people have been gotten engaged in front of that and sent me the photographs.
Yeah. That
I've
thing's really
seen
popular.
the beehive mural, the Beaumont mural with the girl dancing, and then the Jerry's wall with the koi
The fish.
I have seen moms with their daughters or kids, and they're like, she loves the fish, and she's got a name for all the fish, or whatever. like these kids are so innocent. They've made their own stories because you've given them this huge visual to look at and enjoy.
And they filled in the blanks otherwise.
And then I get word back, or I get contacted, and like that just warms my heart. Like that's so cool. Like the fact that like I wasn't even there. I don't even know you, and you stumbled across one of my walls, and it affected your day in a positive way.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a random email one time from this lady on I got Facebook message on my Facebook page, and she was shopping at Jerry's, I guess, and she goes, "I just want to let you know that I really enjoy this mural. One, my daughter's special needs or has some sort of condition. She didn't elaborate. Maybe she was embarrassed or something. I don't know. Um, sounded like some sort of like mental thing or whatever. And I assume she was probably like adolescence. And she goes, since you have done this wall here with all the colors, and she loves the fish, it calms her down for like 5 to 10 minutes to where I can actually bring her in the store and we can shop for art supplies to get her." And I never figured out the condition, but it was soothing.
I mean, regardless, that's still awesome.
Look at, and like I don't even know if this message was real or not. I mean, I'm assuming it was. It was. I mean, but I got it, and I was like, "Damn!" Like you just don't think about that kind of scenario.
Yeah.
In the world, but the fact that your art publicly can influence that and help somebody mentally, psychologically, or create a moment like the engagement in the alley.
Yeah.
Like that comes. I mean, obviously, I want to make a living, and get paid to do what I do, but like
that's worth a lot more than money sometimes.
Oh, absolutely, dude. It's those moments where I just created a long-term lasting memory for somebody in their lives, whether it's just a good day out, looking at walls or anything as big as a proposal, or just a key moment with a family or a couple, and they used my wall as the backdrop for their memory to share. Um, and I see my stuff get tagged a lot. I mean, not everybody tags, but like I'll see a piece and I'm like, well, they didn't tag me, but somebody else sent it to me, and I'm like, and I'll see this like happy couple or somebody smiling, or a lot of out of towners actually,
Yeah.
because it's like a touristy thing to do. Like that is probably the coolest thing. And knowing when I'm long gone, if these buildings are still up, I will have that sort of legacy, and maybe that will trigger or influence somebody else that sees that and go, I think I could do something like that, or even maybe make a better version of it, or take that idea and go off on their own tangent, and maybe they can make a career out of it. So, like I said earlier, like creating like an army of artists, like I'd love to see that happen, and also have that influence of people having a positive connection with public art, which I think in the end of it all, I mean, that's kind of what it's all about. And that's why business owners want that, because it does provide an experience which brings up foot traffic and volume,
Yeah.
which provides more customers. So, um, going back to that other guy's question, I wish I could figure out an algorithm that I could sell to clients to say, if I put a mural on your wall, you will get a certain amount percentage of foot traffic, and your sales will go up by a certain amount
Yeah.
because of people that will seek this work out and want to take it. That's why a lot of businesses want like selfie walls and shit like that.
Yeah. True.
Like Nashville and all that kind of stuff. People want those like wings and shit.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
because you go check, and I'm slated to paint some wings and pigeon forge. Like, okay, but whatever. It's like my own alteration. I've done it once for a dealership. I'm not proud of it, but it turned out cool and whatever. But the thing is, you do something public work, somebody's going to go seek it out, right? So when they go to it, they get there. They drove there. They're in that area of business.
So they're probably not just gonna be there for that.
They're going to
and
take
gonna
their
run
little
around.
yoga pose selfie or whatever shit or whatever, and it's going to look nice. But then, they might be hungry. They might be thirsty. They might need to get gas. They might need to shop and get something. And so, like, indirectly, and I can't document it, I can't prove it.
Right. There's no good way to quantify this.
It's impossible to quantify unless you like tracked cell phones and had video cameras and stuff like that, and then like look at proof of purchase.
Right.
When they took the picture of the mural, and then what they did afterwards, and like filled out a survey.
There's a lot of data after that.
It's too complicated, but it would be cool to have some sort of formula to show that it's good to have public art and spaces that up your retail sales and value of your business. And,
Yeah.
and all that. So, and that's I mean, I think that's why we want to be seen, and we want people to appreciate it. And that's what it comes down to. So
That algorithm would be like
Wouldn't that be nice?
a magic bullet right there.
I think that's like the ones and twos and zeros that are like the matrix trickling down. Like,
Yep.
It's like it's
Yep.
the screen before it gets clear. All that clutterness that it's in there somewhere.
It's in there
We just
somewhere.
don't know. So, what's the second part of that question?
Is existence art? Existence itself, is it art?
To some people it is. Some people it isn't.
I mean, there is a finesse to going about one's day, I think.
I have like zero art forms in my day. When I paint, but I mean, I wouldn't get too, I wouldn't say it's artsy. I mean, there's habits and things you form throughout your life that are just I don't have like a regiment. I don't get myself. I don't like meditate or get myself in like the mindset to paint. I just go. Like I don't live like an artsy lifestyle. I work at it as a job, and I'm happy I get to do it, and I enjoy doing it. I don't know about like living life in an artful way. I don't really know. I feel like I'm just like a Joe Schmo that happens to paint. That like just kept doing it and got decent at it. It has turned into a kind of a lifestyle for me, because like I said, it's not an on off switch. It's an amplitude thing.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a great way to look at it
Working
too.
with-
It's a great analogy.
yeah, because you never really turn
It's
on.
never really off.
Yeah, you know, it's just like kind of in the wings. It's become part of who I am. Absolutely.
I mean, you did show up here like in your paint and pants and paint covered shirt. So like
True.
you look like this most of the time when you're out and about in public and working, right? So this is kind of the
Yeah.
image you carry.
Yeah, and I don't mind it.
There are worse looks for a man to be
I
covered in paint.
like, I don't mind eating by myself a lot because I'll work till sunset, and then I just need to get a bite to eat and go home, and then do the next day. Has become a persona, but also like I don't know, kind of look like a homeless guy. Like I look a little weird to talk to.
You don't have a bag though. That's the thing. You
That's
don't
true.
have a crusty bag.
I'm not trying to sell you a half open Corona or something. Like that happened to me yesterday.
What?
And a guy he goes, "You want to drink some of these beers with me?" And I was like, "No." It's when Chance was there before you showed up.
Oh man.
I was like, "No, we're good, man." He goes, "Well, I'm gonna go sit over here in the corner next to this little."
Oh, that
ranch."
guy sitting next to the stairs over there. I
He's in
saw
the
him.
Yeah, he's in the red shirt, and there's a bunch of weirdos in red shirts yesterday. He's like, "I got some beers if you're thirsty," and I was like, "No, we're good, man. It's okay." Like, but I was like, maybe like the way I look, like he's probably like, "Yeah, I got off the bus too," or whatever. But I don't really mind it. I'm used to looking like this when I go out or go even just shopping and need to get some essentials or whatever. I don't care about that. I don't have time, nor do I give a shit about looking nice when I get to do what I love to do. Like to me, looking professional, dressing the part or whatever.
I mean, you either on purpose or not, you've dressed the part as a painter.
This is what it is, and I don't care about staying.
I don't care what you think. This is peak painter performance. This is what this looks like.
I guess, but like, it like there's no point in trying to keep things clean because I'm always getting dirty anyways. So there's no like. I'm glad I don't own a whole closet full of suits and multiple ties and all that stuff where you got to put on the front. Like when I've been to some a lot of some of these businesses around town that are like heavy hitters. Some of these big corporate people. I've showed up like this in the paint pants and the raggedy T-shirt because I'm gonna go paint somewhere else.
Yeah,
And it's like, here's how much I don't care about the image. The image I care about is what's going on your wall.
right.
I don't need to. I'm not gonna tuck in a. I used to press khakis and tuck in a collared shirt and iron it and look like Jake from State Farm.
To go talk about art things
To go,
for somebody.
to go consult with somebody with a little clipboard, And I was like, what? I look like a douchebag. Like they're gonna see a completely different person when this thing goes down.
Yeah.
So I scrapped that whole idea, and I was like, well,
Good. I'm gonna say good.
I might as well be comfortable and show up in some like painted cargo shorts with some Keens and like a raggedy T-shirt. That's like I get a lot of shirts from business owners that I will wear to advertise their business while I paint.
Yeah,
I got like Sherwin-Williams and Ben Moore shirts and Montana Cans shirts and like I wear all that shit because who gives a crap? I'm not, I'm not sitting there with a like CertaPro shirt or I'm not representing anybody but myself.
Right.
And I don't want to have a company line of T-shirts because it's just me. That'd be a waste of money.
Yeah.
If you want to get to know me, talk to me and I'll give you a business card. So I kind of like it. It's kind of cool to keep like the mystery and also the clothes tend to be a conversation starter.
Oh, no doubt.
With people. So that's a marketing tool in itself.
And it's much more comfortable than those khaki pants, right?
Oh God. I look like such a goober, and I felt like a goober. I wasn't myself.
Right.
But I was like, here's how you need to present yourself because these people are in this corporate environment, so you shouldn't.
This is what they expect, so I'll conform.
Like a schlub, and and now I'm just like, you know what? WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get. This is it. This is what you're gonna see when we consult, this is what you're going to see when I put the clear coat on the wall.
Yeah.
And that's that. Let me do my thing, and we'll all be happy.
Like, I show up dressed like this, there are no surprises.
Exactly. Yeah, low expectations. I am not here to impress you with my wardrobe at all. So,
So man, I'll ask you one more question and then I'll play us out. We're at like 2.5 hours right now, so this is kind of long for me, but that's great. We've had a good time.
I do talk too much.
Nah, dude, you're good. Moonshot projects, anything big, body of work, like anything out there on the horizon you'd like to accomplish?
I'd love to work. So with the way COVID has been, I want to travel more. Uh, I would love to get involved in like Space Walls. I think that's Greg Mike over in Atlanta. My friend Jex that did the Outcast mural.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's a cool thing. The Crush Walls. I forget that's in Ohio. I know Montreal has something. A big fest. I'd love to be involved in those huge wall festivals. Winwood, obviously. Art Basel, all that crazy crap. I'd like to do that. Every time I've driven by it, especially when I was doing the wall at Harper, you know where they redid Alcoa, that big stone textured wall.
Yeah, the one on the right with the retaining
like Mario
wall.
Brothers almost like
Yes.
texture. That like, what would we say, like 4 football fields at least?
Oh, dude, that's a lot. There's a lot of surface
like
area there.
like you'd have to do like an abstract type of thing, but like paint that whole damn thing.
That's a lot.
That would be awesome. That's in my mind. Since I've done work for the Boyds and they're trying to open the Smoky Stadium,
Yeah.
I told them I want to paint your whole damn stadium. and if they're still Cubs affiliated, do like Ernie Banks and like Ryan Sandberg on it.
That's a big project. That's a moonshot project.
That's a moonshot. Like figure out all they have their colors and stuff like that, but if they stay like Cubs affiliated, do like Cubs history, like Harry Carey mural.
Yeah, for real.
Something like that. That would be awesome. I do have a moonshot project right now on the south side, possibly. I got to figure that out. We're in the process, but mainly just traveling to festivals. I've been to Costa Rica twice, but I'd like to go to Europe and paint. Like all these like meeting of the styles festivals with all these world-renowned graffiti guys. It'd be cool to work with like a Tristan Eaton, or like a Shepard Fairey. Those types of guys, but that's just like random, stuff. But my goal is to paint the largest visible mural in Knoxville on a wall somewhere. Which you have the one in the alleyway with the faces.
Yeah.
That guy, I think, from Seattle.
I have very adverse opinions about that particular piece.
It's okay, but like it's in a shit location.
That's my biggest gripe, the location.
The public arts committee is probably gonna hate me, but whatever.
It's so big and it's in an alley. What the fuck? You can't see it.
I sometimes bid for them. I sometimes don't, and usually they always hire outside. So I'm like, fuck it, who cares? But that's a waste of money in that location.
It's a terrible location for a piece that big.
Yeah, they should have put it. Just not there.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe on the other side of one of the parking garages. Actually, we're visiting Knoxville. Put the black and white vinyl prints across from Pete's Coffee Shop.
Yep, that would have been great.
You got those big squares.
Mm-hmm.
They look like they're like 20 by 20 or 25 by 25. That whole garage, if you took down those prints and that whole thing and just made a big colossal mural,
that would be great. That's a great spot.
I want to paint a few parking garages, like the State Street garage that faces when you see James White.
Yeah.
I want to do a whole crazy like geometry thing on there. Every time I pass by something in Knoxville, I'm like, that needs some paint on it.
Yeah.
Then the second question comes to mind: who's going to pay for it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I have like, there's no like specific pipe dreams. It's just like, go have a new experience. I'd love to travel all the way down through the Southwest and go up to Cali, up in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And go back through the park system.
That'd be great.
For like, I don't know, a half a year. Like if you look up the greetings tour people, it's this couple that travel the country and they did was it K Brew or whatever?
Oh yeah,
The
the
tourism
Knoxville.
one.
Yeah,
They did the proper one, the good one.
yeah,
And it was funny because a lot of people thought that was mine because it's really detailed, and I was like, no, it's like this badass couple that travels the country in a
yeah.
week.
They go lots of different cities and do that style of
They
work,
do
right?
the postcard thing everywhere,
Yeah,
and that's their life.
yeah.
And I follow them. They're awesome people, and that would be something cool to do. I want to travel more. That's the pipe dream.
Yeah,
I want to travel
that's a
more.
good pipe dream.
I want to get my work out there. I want to be invited to cities, festivals more. Like that's the thing. Like Knoxville's not a huge art city, so nobody like a small blip on the radar. Nobody's looking at Knoxville for public artwork.
Right.
But I'm helping do that. Megan Lingerfeld's somebody that's helping do that.
I've had her name suggested for me before too.
Need to get
so
Megan
yeah.
on the podcast. Megan and I actually went to college together and didn't know it in Asheville.
Yeah, I'll have to drop her a line.
She's the one that redid Dolly. She did the windows. She just did the Oak Ridge thing. She's doing an ORNL Federal Credit Union mural we both bid on. We bid together on this big Johnson City project where it's 4 overpass walls,
A
and we teamed up together and we submitted a design, and it's out of like 3 groups. We're one of them. We're waiting to hear back on that.
well, good luck on that.
And I appreciate that. Well, it's cool to meet somebody like her because she's getting after it just as much as I am, and she has a particular style that I appreciate.
So it'd be fun for you to work with somebody that has a pretty dialed in style.
Yeah, well, like I like how she does her work, and she's as busy as I am, and she actually did like studio art, so like, she learned like the classical way to do it. I'm just trying to figure it out as I go, but I use spray paint, and she doesn't. So like I've told her, I was like, we can do like a spray paint tutorial, and then like I like her composition, so we combine forces for this RFP for Johnson City, and I hope we get it because she's talented as hell, and I'd be happy to work with her, and she would be good on this podcast as well. And there's a few other people I could think of. But,
Well, drop their name so I don't have to ask you. Go ahead and throw them out there.
I think the guy that does the concrete work, Justin Polk, he does some really cool sculptures. Preston Faribault, the welder.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about creatives. Oh, geez, I'm trying to think of who else is painting out there. There's not a lot of us. Trying to think of. I'd like to hear one of the 10 years guys on here. Honestly, I'm not naming painters so much because I kind of stay in my lane.
Well, I mean, musicians, whatever. If it falls under the creative umbrella, I'm up for it.
Justin Status Serigraph or.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've met him. He's actually his kids play with my nephews in basketball, and he does all the concert posters.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all that. He does his color theory is really cool. That's somebody worth interviewing. Trying to think of like some graffiti guys, but they probably want to be incognito. So.
Yeah, funny how that goes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's kind of like on the tip of my tongue right now. That's all I can think of. I'll probably have more.
Well, if you do, you can drop me a line.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so it's cool to see other people doing what you're doing as well, at a different style and rate. And I just want to see more of it, man. I really do. Like, there's a lot of like ego involved in the creative world, but I'm one of those people where you can put down your sword and hard work supersedes anybody's bullshit, presentation of what they are. If you work hard enough, you can get to where you want to get. And I don't have anything against anybody that tries to outwork me. If they do, more power to you.
Yeah, they're working hard if they outwork you.
Yeah,
they're working real hard.
Way better than I did. Kudos to you, and I might ask you a question.
Right.
And you could be doing it for less years than I was. You're always learning, and that's a great thing. That's what I love about this. There's not a set standards of codes to follow. You're always adapting.
Yeah.
And that comes back to the conduit of energy. It's always transferring something. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've found that more often than not, if you're to genuinely ask a question to a fellow artist, you're going to get a genuine answer, which is very comforting.
Yeah, well, we're yeah, we're in our own little worlds, and we both kind of get it. It's easy to talk to another creative because we know like there's so many tangents and stuff, and
Right.
obviously my ramblings prove that. But yeah. Anything else, man?
Just tell us your social media outlets, and I'll play us out.
Yeah, you can find me Instagram at Curtis Glover Creative. Same thing on Facebook, Curtis Glover Creative. Yeah, just the Instagram and the Facebook. Based in Knoxville, will travel for work. Um, I do canvas commissions as well on the side, but mainly big murals, some signage, and I'm not hard to find. So if you see me around, wave at me or tell me my work sucks. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm doing what I love, and I hope those people are too. So, but I am very thankful for where I'm at and what I get to do, and help this city out a little bit, and hope more people appreciate it, and hope more people are influenced by it and chase after what they're going for with their dreams. So, yeah.
All right, Curtis. Thank you for being on the KAAMP.
Thank you for having me over, and thank you for the beers.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm going to play us out.
All right.
That was the show. I hope you enjoyed. All the relevant social media and website links will be in the episode description for the featured artist today. And if you yourself or know an artist that you would like to be or see on the platform, shoot me an email. It'll be listed somewhere on here. I'll try to make it plainly evident for you. But thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next time.